I love it. I love it. I love it. It just makes you feel all warm inside. It's good stuff. How's everyone doing? Welcome, excuse me, welcome Arvanauts. Welcome everybody to a Saturday stream. It is October 22nd, 2022, in the year of our Lord, etc., etc. And it is day 5 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, Planetfall. We are onto a new section of the Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks campaign. We are continuing to follow the characters of Espergenesis. We will be switching back to the fantasy characters after this section, just so when people are curious. I had assumed that we would be switching back to fantasy characters last session, but actually there is one more segment to go through, and then we will switch back. So I am very, very excited for tonight and excited to see how this crew gets into it. So before we get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support the stream. If you have not done so already, please make sure to follow us here on the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, which is where you can see past broadcasts of this and other streams. !ArvCord is the Discord channel where you can hang out with people in between streams. And !ArvTweets, my Twitter, where I will always post when I'm going live and stuff like that. In fact, as I say that, I realize that I need to retweet the fact that we're actually live and up and rolling. There's this. Let me do this. Found upstairs thing. Okay. Quote tweet. Live and rolling now, ! Okay, cool. So we've got the Twitter, which is going on, and that's ! !ArvTweets, and the website for this is arvanellerant.com. On the financial side, we have got ! !ArvTreon, that is the Patreon, which allows us to commission videos like the ones that you've just seen with that incredible music. That is, again, something which is good for the channel and good for you. ! !ArvShop is our merchandise area where you can get Infinity and Beyond, Adventures in Middle-earth, swag material, and you'll be able to get some Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks swag down the line as well. So we've got that. And then, of course, the system of subscribing is always a good thing. So if you sub to the channel, that's always great. You get those custom sub badges and emotes and things like that to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. That is always very much appreciated as well. On the publishing side, ! Icarus is my Icarus graphic novel from the amazing Athos Arts, the award-winning Athos Arts. ! Library is Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, which is brought to you by our sponsor for this campaign. Alligator Alley Entertainment, of course, sponsors Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks and also sponsored our Espergenesis campaign and is also responsible for Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and source book, which you can pick up at that link, and also are responsible for the tabletop game, which will be coming out as part of my Greyshade fulfillment. ! Greyshade, the novel for this first novel was launched May 31st of this year. The Kickstarter was run a few months ago successfully, and so now we are working on fulfillment aspects of it. I am making my way through the Renegade edit before I send it off to the incredible Emily the Honored, guest of honor at CanCon 2022. And so I've got Renegade. I'm also excited to be able to have the tabletop role-playing game being designed by Brandon O'Brien. That is going to be available next year. Renegade will be available next year. Heretic, which is the final book in the series, will be available the year after that, 2024. And in addition to that, we've got the audiobook by one Mr. Tren Sparks, which will also be available coming up, and Tren will be working on that. And you can pre-order that and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited. Yeah, I'm excited about that, and it's going to be great. So you should check it out as well. Okay, sounds good, Crit Twitch. We'll see you back here in a little bit. So yes, that is the deal with that. Finally, of course, if you have not already done so, please consider supporting some of the causes that we bring up here. ! BLM, Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. ! Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And ! Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the fine people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war. They are fighting back with bravery, with courage, and with success, but they're only doing so thanks to the support of others. And so this is a way to be able to step up and even in a small way do that on our behalf for them as well. Quick note about schedule. We've got Expedition coming up tonight. Tomorrow we will return with Girl by Moonlight, Fractal Spire, as Brandon O'Brien and the Strange Friends return, continuing our Speculate theme from yesterday and then tomorrow. So that's going to be happening tomorrow. And then next week, we have some stuff going on. We have the Patreon-fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month on Tuesday. We are going to have Ghosts of Saltmarsh, D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh coming up on Tuesday as well. We'll be off Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be back on Friday with Castlevania as Halloween weekend will be upon us. Saturday will be a return to Eberron as we move into Oracle of War, as we move into the end of Season 2 of Oracle of War. So that's going to be cool. And then Sunday will be off. Monday is Halloween, and on Monday night, as always, we will have our annual Halloween reading. So we will have a reading of the great Edgar Allan Poe, reading both The Raven and some other story of his that I haven't decided upon yet, but I will figure that out before that comes. So that'll be there. So yeah, that's what we've got going on. Please spread the word, let people know about this, and as many people as we can get in here, the better. But for today, we have got Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, and so I'm going to unmute myself and apologize unreservedly for having interrupted people who may have been speaking, and then because I couldn't hear them, and then I'm going to unmute them, and now I can hear them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal the incredible crew before you, or I should say 3 of the incredible crew. One of our number, Kat, is actually away and is not going to be here next month as well. I should mention that we're playing tonight. Next month, we will be taking a 1-month only break. And then in December, we will be back with 2 sessions because Kat is going to be in Spain. And so Kat is going to, we all collectively decided we did want to play so that we don't lose too much momentum, but we don't want Kat to miss out on too much story, and there's going to be a lot of story, trust me, going forward. So we're playing tonight, then we'll take a break, and we will be in this campaign back for all of you lovely folks in December. But tonight we got some Esper Genesis style stuff to play with Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks and the crew. So starting with the top left, I will begin with the gentleman with sunglasses on the head, looking stylish, and I'm sure that's totally what Titus would wear as sunglasses, just normally. I feel like that totally would fit Titus's display. Maybe not so
Look,
much.
I don't have aviator shades. I need to buy aviator shades.
Aviator
that's what Titus
shades
would wear, and I don't
have... yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what you would need. Johnny, how you doing? How's life in the universe with you, Mr. Johnny Pittman? And who are you playing tonight?
Life is interesting. It is October. It is spooky season. It is. It's been an interesting amount of time. I guarantee that it's only going to get spookier and weirder as the month goes on, and then of course we'll make our way through a strange November for a fun December. I will be helping people move over the next couple of months. So my life may stabilize in the new year. That's what I'm hoping, but we'll see what happens with that. Otherwise, I'm pretty much okay. Did see Black Adam. Wasn't 100% about it, but did love it. So please go see it.
Oh, I wondered if it was any
really
good. I heard mixed reviews. Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a little bit of a story problem, a little bit of editing problem, but like everybody kills it. And The Rock is amazing. Well, his name is Dwayne Johnson now, but Dwayne Johnson's amazing. And then Pierce Brosnan steals the show in a lot of ways. But yeah, anyways.
Nice. Okay.
So I am playing Titus Littlefoot, a Zek engineer, and we'll see what kind of trouble he gets into tonight.
And I'm going to come back to Titus in a bit to talk about what has happened as these characters have moved to level 2, chat. They're onto the level 2-ness of the world. So I will come back to them, but always a pleasure to have Johnny with us. As I said, Kat's not with us now, but we'll be back in December when we reconvene. But as we continue along today, I will next talk to Toya. It is good to see you, Toya. How are you, Toya Kristen Finley? How's life in the universe with you, etc.? Are you at liberty to reveal the new thing that has happened in your life?
Well, let's see. I may or may not reveal the new dog.
Okay, I see. I didn't want to say. I just was like, see. There's a new dog, chat. There's a new dog.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so I think one thing that maybe might be encouraging to Toya would be if the cheers, which I'll talk about in a minute, are Fast and Furious. Maybe that might encourage more of a dog appearance. I'm not above bribing to get dogs on camera. But no, first of all, congratulations on the new arrival for the dog. How are you doing otherwise, and who are you playing today?
I have to first apologize for the fact that I'm mostly a floating head. I don't know what Zoom did something, and so you only see
my actual whole head unless I'm right in your face. And I know that's uncomfortable. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a disembodied floating face, and you're gonna have to deal with it. That's all.
Dr. Winterfield's just going to be very angry from everything last session. So everyone's going to be like, I can't believe it. Like this kind of thing the whole time.
Yes, I am playing Dr. Naomi Winterfield, who is an adept dream shaper.
Good stuff. And I'm excited to hear if there are any cool new things we've got from Dr. Winterfield coming up at level 2, but we will talk about that momentarily. In the meantime, I will jump down to the immortal and incredible and amazing Zach Clay, who is here with us. And Zach, it's good to see you. I must confess that I know you've been doing a lot of Plague Tale, but that game squeezes me out a lot. It's not you. It's just that I'm like, I don't. I have encountered rats before in my not this home, knock on wood, thank God, but other homes, and it squeezes me out. So having a whole game where a lot of it is about getting consumed by rats, that's a struggle for me. But I'm sure it's been awesome. Has it been awesome? Have you been enjoying it? How's life been for you? Who are you playing?
Yeah. So A Plague Tale is a game that came out in 2019, originally by Asobo Studio. For those that don't know, it's basically set in the 14th century France in the time period where both the 100 Years' War between France and England was happening and the Black Death plague. And the Plague Tale game is also known for like thousands and thousands of rats are just everywhere. And I guess it's
terrifying.
just, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's like what it is. I'm not grossed out or anything at all by the rats. Like even in this game goes above and beyond like literal waves, like ocean waves of rats. Like it's terrifying. That doesn't disturb me at all. Not even the noises, nothing. It's everything else. Like the game.
Yeah, the game has a major trope that ticks me off with the dog.
Oh yeah. And then, they also, I mean, there's lots of gore, there's, bodies and all this stuff. So like that's that stuff that is disturbing, but you find that also in any other video game. So yeah, the rats are not a problem. I'm fine with the rats. Maybe because I haven't had a terrible rat experience, but yeah, the sequel to the original 2019 game just came out this past Tuesday. So that's what I was playing. That's what Arv's talking about. That game was good. Anyone who decides to play it, try not to spoil yourself of the progression of the game and the story. I will say it was good. Definitely a very intense emotional story, very intense around the way. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and probably the most visually beautiful game I've ever played to date. As far as the graphics, the environmental team really pushing the limits of like modern day, what these systems can accomplish as far as like photorealism and stuff like that. So if you've ever played like an Assassin's Creed game and what those games are trying to do to recreate like real world locations, the Plague Tale game, in my opinion, has done it even better, having just come out this past Tuesday. But anyway.
I had no idea there was a sequel.
Yeah, it just came out.
I'm actually looking forward to trying. I'm going to be playing. I'm finishing up Yuffie's mission for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then I'm doing a quick like retro thing. But then I'm going to come back to play Ghost of Tsushima on my PS5, and I'm excited for the same reason you were to play this on the Series X, because I'm like, I have not played one of these on a bleeding edge console. Like the best I had was PC, but even that. So yeah.
By the way, Arv, I don't know if you've heard of this game, but you might want to look into it. It's called Mythwrecked.
I have not heard of Mythwrecked. Tell me more.
So you end up on an island, basically shipwrecked with a lot of gods who, don't exactly remember who they are. And you are figuring out the mystery of what's happened to them.
Really?
And it's kind of a thing where some gods are out in the open and you can, befriend them easily. And then there's some others that you have to do some digging to find them.
Does this have a lot of text that is not voiced by chance?
I do not know that.
It looks like it might.
That's really interesting because I have I have a couple of voice actors I work with that may or may not.
You know.
Yeah, some of them. Some of them one's name might rhyme with might name with Flack Flay. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, there might be another one here who wouldn't mind joining that if possible.
Oh, are you offering to add voice
I might
talents
be.
to it? Oh, really? Well, we will have to speak about this. This is exciting, chat. This is what
This is
happens when you
exciting.
let conversation go. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So I'll talk. I actually very seriously might talk to you about that. But anyway, regardless, that's very cool, and I had not heard about that at all,
Mhm.
and so that's
Yeah, that one looks cool.
very interesting. Talk with Toya, he says in his notes. Okay. So sorry, Zach, I interrupted you. But anyway, I was just going to say, like, I totally get that. Like, I just marveled walking around with the Yuffie's mission being like, holy cow, does that look good? You know?
Mhm.
So, like, I can only imagine what it must feel like going
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
that section.
The Plague Tale games are the structure of them is you get a light, beautiful levity moment, and then an instant later the same city is destroyed, or people die and you're now in the depths of the muck and like it's terrible. But the somehow the environments are beautiful either way. And there's a lot of stuff. But
That's
anyway,
very cool.
that brings us to what I'm playing today. I'm playing Dr. Jaraxxus, whose accent changes slightly every time I play him, but hovers somewhere in the northern Asia, Russia area, who is a cybermancer, a Dendus cybermancer, who is a Esper Genesis era social media influencer, scientist. And that is my character. I'm very excited to play. He's also currently at 1 HP.
Well, you did, I think, escape at the end. Yeah, that was a very near thing.
He
that we'll
leveled
talk
up,
about
so
in our wrap.
he's
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I was actually going to ask you. So when we level up like this, kind of in the middle of a section,
Right.
do you want us to we increase our maximum HP? Do you want us to increase our maximum HP but keep our current the same until we rest?
No, in this case, actually, you can max and level up. You can increase all the way.
normally
Yeah, because it's
refresh
been
everything?
because it's been a
Okay.
couple of weeks. Because remember, we've actually gotten back from your trip, and it was at that point that you were talked to. And I actually need to grab one more set of notes. But you were talking to the person that you went with in the first place. Tren, who told you that he had found, remember, another signal even stronger, that this basically was it allowed him to triangulate the position of where the actual signal was. So you've been on this base with him for a couple of weeks, and as we get started, actually, you're going to be in his office as he's explaining to you, where that actual signal is and what that means and all that stuff. So
Right.
no reason that you can't actually, in the meantime, have leveled up the full way without having to
Great.
do that. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to grab those notes quickly. While I'm doing that, if any of you are like, oh yeah, I've got this awesome thing that I'm looking forward to for level 2, please let chat know, and then we also have to roll hit points. But let me get my notes quick.
Okay. I'll go
should get
first.
in that roll 20 site.
Yes.
Okay.
So at level 2 for Jaraxxus, Jaraxxus is a cybermancer, and in Esper Genesis, the cybermancer is somewhat akin, because this is based off of the 5th edition D&D 5th edition system. Cybermancer is somewhat equivalent to the warlock in 5th edition, except the cybermancer is intelligence instead of charisma based. So a second level cybermancer gets what are called complex patterns, which is equivalent roughly to a warlock's invocations, which are special, stamped features for the class, little extra features that let you cast a spell or something.
Yep.
So I get to choose 2. So Jaraxxus has chosen one called Inner Energies, which says I can activate Innervate on myself as a rank 1 talent at will. And Innervate is akin to 5th edition's False Life. So essentially I cast the spell and I gain temporary hit points equal to 1d4 plus 4.
I can't
at any
imagine why
time.
that was appealing to you, Zach.
Yeah,
Why you're
yeah,
I
no.
want more ways to avoid. Although, as Arudinel pointed
yes.
out, you had the only hit point that mattered, which is the last one.
Yes,
That's the only
very
one that
true.
matters. is
Now
that
I'm
last
just
one.
adding more to be the fans of that one hit point.
Yeah. There
They're
you
the
go.
the hype squad behind it that will gladly submit themselves.
So inner energies is one. Good stuff there. What about the
right.
other one?
And the other one I have chosen, I think suits Dr. Jaraxxus pretty well, is Shared Optics, which is I think equivalent to the Warlock's Gaze of Two Minds, for those that are curious. So Shared Optics says I can use my action to touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of my next turn, as long as that creature is in the same planetary system, so I guess like solar system, as me. I can use my action on subsequent turns to maintain the connection. So essentially I can touch someone, they can walk away, and then as long as I use my action every 6 seconds, I can just keep looking through their eyes and hearing what they hear forever.
Which is really good. The biggest weakness to it is that you're blinded and deafened to your own surroundings. So
yes,
you're kind of helpless in your current body, while that's going on. Not helpless, but so as a result, if someone knocks you out, or like at some point you're going to have to come back into yourself. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to believe it might have been useful in the adventure you were just in, actually, being able to have people sense what you were. I guess you sensing where, well, no, because you were the away team though, in this case. But
we'll have to find an interesting way to make it work, because there's two words that are really a crux for it as well, which is that it has to be a willing creature. So I can't use this to like poke an enemy and then like spy on them as they go back in their base. And they have to be a humanoid. So I can't do this on a construct or a robot or a drone. So essentially this would be a situation, I don't know, almost like recreating what Dr. Winterfield was doing back on the ship, like while Jaraxxus and our Zek friend Titus, thank you. Yeah. Titus were on the ship. Like I can look through someone else's vision. I don't know, but I'll find a way to make it cool.
It fits the character too. It feels like to me, like there's a kind of a seeing other people. It's part of the influence.
Yeah, extending the connection.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I get another talent or spell, and that's it for this level. I'm still choosing that third talent.
That's cool. Shall we take a look at the hit point situation before we move on from you? So it's 1d8 plus your con modifier. Do you wish to take the average, or are you going to do as all real role players do? And no, it's totally up to you as to how you
I think I reserve the right to change per level, or maybe for Beauty, the other character, I might take the average, but I'll roll for this time for Dr. Jaraxxus and take what it is. Now, do you have any special rules, like if you roll a 1, you get to re-roll, or is it
I do not.
What it is?
But I do. But you do have my undying respect.
Okay, that's all that counts.
So there is that.
All right, now
you know what? Actually, before you roll, I will give chat this one. I will give chat this little
inspiration.
Benefit. Well, not exactly. This is how I'll say it. If you inspire this roll, it means that if Zach rolls a 1, he can re-roll it. Only a 1. If he rolls a 2, that doesn't count. If you roll, whatever.
Right.
But I will let him re-roll if he rolls a 1 on this, if chat inspires.
But then what if I don't roll a 1, then their inspiration is just gone?
That's correct.
Oh, don't do that. That's too much of a risk. That's a 1 in 8 chance. It's okay, chat.
It's true. It's okay. It'll be fine.
I mean, use your inspirations, but
yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll just do it. Now watch. I'm gonna get. Watch what's gonna happen. Okay.
No, see, it was fine.
It was
so
all
a
good.
6. That's pretty good.
So that takes me up to 15 total.
Better than the average. All right.
Yeah.
15 out of 15.
And to be honest, since I can just cast this innervate, this false life at will, again, I can never cast it at a higher level, so it's only ever going to be 1d4 plus 4.
Right.
But I would say that Jaraxxus, like it takes an action to do that. So once we get in combat, then I'm probably not, I can't just keep getting free hit points. But outside of combat, I'm going to say he just kind of keeps this shield of 1d4 plus 4 hit points.
It's you can use it as a cantrip?
Yeah, let me see so yeah, it's in action at will, essentially, but I need to see the duration. Innervate. So casting time of 1 action on the self, duration of 1 hour. So I have to stick with it, and like if I really wanted to re-roll it, I could cast it again
without expending a talent slot. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually
so
use
I can
that.
Just
okay. Yeah, so you're really the tank now, is what you're saying. Like I think you can be up front. You can definitely face roll damage and
armor class of 10 tank. Yep.
Okay, good stuff. I am excited to see how things go with Dr. Jaraxis.
Great.
Let's shift over to Johnny. Let me go to you next if I can.
Sure.
So what are we looking at for Titus, the Zek engineer?
Well, so first things first, at level 2, of course, Titus gets an additional tech slot for first level tech talents.
Yep.
Or techniques or whatever.
Yep.
So simple enough. The at level 2, the sort of the rig that grants essentially all of the sort of like weird technical abilities and has all these little micro drones around. It's what's called an expansion. And I remember Carlos getting this during the last campaign.
Yes.
And at the same time, I'm confused about some of the choices that he made. But so the rig expansion comes with 2 essentially additional effects. One is, standard to the engineer, and then one is specified by the specialization, the technical specialization that the character chooses. So for the general sort of like engineer expansion, we get the electromagnetic pulse. And so that's pretty self-explanatory for the most part. It doesn't look like it does any damage or anything. It's just a matter of like it impairs things if they fail their save.
And it did have some uses you may remember in the EG campaign. There were a couple times where that was used to good effect by Carlos, actually. So
absolutely. I'm going to be thinking about some of the things that he did in order to kind of bring that into the game in and of itself.
Yeah.
The specific thing, the technical specialty, because I chose the medic specialization, because our little Zek friend here is essentially a combat medic. We get what is called rejuvenation as a part of the tech expansion. So starting at level 2, you can use your rig expansion feature to heal the badly injured. As an action, you can use your rig to forge a regenerative something or other that can
love that word. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it because I was, I am terrible with pronunciation. So a regenerative poultice that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your engineer level. Now, this is a pretty sweet thing.
Yep.
And it can be divided among players within 30 feet. So that is pretty damn cool.
Yep. Now, one note about that.
The
half.
I'm sorry, what?
Just one thing which is, of course, you see that it can restore a creature to no more than half of its hit point maximum. So just be aware of that. It's because it doesn't heal up all the way, but obviously it can be super useful for the injured.
It's definitely like an emergency combat kind of a thing. But the one thing I'm not seeing about it, and maybe we can figure this out.
Okay.
Okay. They can be used twice per rest, or sorry, once per rest. Once per short or long rest.
Once per short or long rest, I think is right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't specified specifically with the talents or with the technical abilities. So, yeah. And then otherwise, I think that's pretty much it for the engineer. And I don't buck a good trend. I'm going to stick with the taking of the average for the hit points.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll take, it's a D8, so I'll take 5 plus my Constitution bonus, which was 2. So I'll take 7. So I'm now at 17.
So 17. Very nice. That's our new tank, is Titus.
Well, so I also have AC of 12, so I definitely think I qualify as the tank medic for now.
I am most excited to see it. Level 2.
And I'm 2 feet tall, so that just explain that one to me.
I was gonna say, do you gain any height upon leveling? Okay.
No. If nothing, he gets older and shorter.
he gets lesser every time. Like, get out of my way. Okay. I am excited to see how we see some of this stuff coming from Titus this time. Exactly, an ankle biter. Yeah, you don't want to mess with him for sure.
Not at all. No.
He did some hot wiring with a panel off the ground that was pretty epic in our last session. So good stuff out of Titus. Thank you, Johnny. Last but certainly not least, Toya, we have Dr. Naomi Winterfield as the human adept dream shaper. Is there anything that has grabbed your attention about level 2 stuff?
So what I know for certain is that she gains the talent Intellect Fortress. Let me scroll down. Okay, at 2nd level, your purity of mind and focus grants you advantage to saving throws versus being charmed or frightened.
Yep, you're just like, don't come in here with that nonsense. Yes. That's true. You also know an additional talent. And because you start with 2 talents that you know. Well, 3. Let me rephrase that. You have prime talents, but then you additionally know 2 first talents, like first level talents, talent rank
Yep.
1s. So now you have 3 of those talent rank 1s plus your 3 prime talents, the same ones you had. And you now have 6 talent points to use instead of 4.
So
Like-
I've got a question. So
Sure.
I'm aware of Psyblast. I picked that one up.
Mm-hmm.
But I chose to. I can communicate with creatures within 30 feet. I've got Psyblast. What's the third prime talent that I have that I was not aware of?
No, I think you're able to choose. Well, you're able to choose one that you want.
Oh.
There are. Yeah, let's take a look at the prime
It's on
talents.
page 210.
Yep, there are 3.
Okay.
And
Aegis, Dark.
The ability to
those are
talk to animals, was that commune with beasts? Is the one? what-
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're on page 210, you have 3, you get to choose 3 prime talents. So one of those is Psyblast. You can
Yep.
now pick an additional 2, or you would have an additional 2. So, Aegis or Frostfold or any one of those, you get 2 more. And you should also have 3 rank 1
Yep.
talents.
In
Okay.
addition to commune with beasts, you could get 2 others as well.
Yep.
So for some reason, and I don't know why, I actually have 4 rank 1s at the moment. That might be
You might have
wrong.
gotten one from your adept
Yeah.
type, maybe.
Okay.
Let me look.
Oh, that could be.
So do I still get 3 more for rank 1?
Not
Let's
more.
take a look.
It means you have 3 total. What this allows you to do
Okay.
is you can basically, so you started with 2 first level talents. You could swap out one of them if you wish
Okay.
and get an additional one. So you'd have to keep one as the same. You could swap out one or keep it as it is, and then you get an additional one. Again, all from that level 1 talent rank group.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm good with the ones I've got, but I've got to choose 2 prime talents apparently.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you should have 3 prime talents and 3 talent level 1 talents.
Where are those? Where the descriptions for the prime talents?
Prime talents are in the talent group, like the same place where the talents are. So on page 210, that same page that you're looking at, you can see it says under adept powers there should be prime there.
Yeah, but where's the descriptions?
Oh, the descriptions. They're done alphabetically. So if you go, so like Aegis is on 214. Let's see, Dark Conduit I think is. Dark Conduit is 225 and so on. So they're done alphabetically, just in the talent list, the overall talent group.
Okay. So let's see. I'm reading Aegis. The next one is Dark Conduit.
Yep.
Let me find it.
And you can be doing this as I'm going through like recap and stuff like that's I just wanted to make sure I knew what other like different stuff you might have, but you can do the talent stuff as I'm going through this. That's fine. But before I leave you to do that and start doing the recap, hit points. Adept should be what are you, 1d? I'm going to guess it's 1d8. Yep.
Yeah.
Haha. Okay, 1d8
Okay.
plus cons. So do you want to roll them, Toya, or do you want to take the average as Johnny did? Or will you do the courageous, boldly going where no one has gone before as we just had for Dr. Jiraxis and rolling? I'm completely joking. It's just fun to roll dice. It's up to you if you want to do the average or if you wanna roll.
Okay. My rolls have been garbage. It's Constitution plus. How do you do the average? Something the average, the Constitution plus.
The con modifier is there regardless, so it means that you would just get a 4 because it's 1d8.
Yeah.
So you would just take 4 and you'd add your con, which would give you 7.
That's also.
And actually, I think it bumps the average up because it says hit
Does it?
points at higher level. Yeah. For every class, it's 1 higher than the middle.
Oh, then the middle. That's right. So that
So
would
it's
be 8.
5.
So
Yeah.
you'll be 5 plus 3. So if you take the average, you'll have 8. Or you could roll and perhaps do even better.
Well, so I'm not. It doesn't have anything to do with my Constitution, which is 10, which is garbage.
Okay, so,
So
your con doesn't do
yeah.
anything extra. So then it would just be, so the average would just be 5. Or you could roll and see if you
For the-
want 6, 7,
yeah.
8. It's up to you.
And where
Exactly.
does this get added to?
Hit points.
Okay, hit points.
Yeah, your health. essentially.
But it's
And
up
were
to you
there-
as to how you want to do it. Do you want to do the average or do you want to do the roll?
I'm trying to find where my hit points are right now.
Oh, I'm not sure
It's
on the
on
sheet. You have 10
yeah,
out of
it's
10
on the
though, hit
first
points.
the first page. Well, not the art page, but the first
Oh,
actual
there it is.
page, right in the big oval.
So this can be 15 or something better. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Are you at 10 right now?
You should 10 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this could be. Let's see.
It'd be anywhere from it could be anywhere from
8.
11 all the way to
Yeah.
18.
And your Constitution ability score on the left side, you have a 10.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
Wait,
plus
wait,
0.
wait. Let me make sure. My constitution is 10.
Yeah, it sounds
And-
right
Plus
for an
0.
adept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds right for an adept.
So your starting health should have actually just been 8. You're saying it's 10.
I don't know. You're telling me.
Oh,
you're-
yeah, that's true. It should have been 8 then, yeah.
Yeah. So if you.
I never got hit. I never got injured. So
Yeah, no,
It
it,
did
it,
come
it,
into
it,
play.
it didn't matter, but yeah,
I
so it should have
mean,
been
if
8.
you never get injured for the whole rest of the campaign, I guess we don't need to know what your health is.
Exactly.
okay. So oh god.
So
8
right
is-
now it would be 8, and then you could just automatically go up to 13, or you could roll to go from either have 9 to
16.
16. Either take 13 or risk the potential of 9 to 16.
I don't know what to do.
You want one of us to decide?
Well, I was thinking maybe. Well,
Taking the
what
average
would
is
you do?
always the
Consider
safe.
mine is like 8. Yes, but it's also kind of sad. 13
is-
is kind of sad.
Are you cautious or adventurous as a character?
This is where I would say both.
you
You can't ask me that.
All right,
cautious,
based
'Cause I wanna do
cautiously
both.
adventurous.
based on the experience that we've had with you so far, you stayed on the ship and let Zach and I go get into trouble. I think you should go with
That was me
the
just
average.
being smart.
Well,
Smart,
maybe smart
cautious,
is taking
same
the average
difference
then.
here, same
Yeah, maybe.
difference.
Yeah.
Or maybe she should roll because she will be in the back and out of the way, out of the combat
Ooh,
scenario.
yes,
So she
yes.
doesn't need high health
Yeah, who needs health?
if she happens to roll low,
Right, and
Health
then she
is a dumb
becomes the squishy
stat
target
anyway,
that all
right?
the villains go to first.
Exactly.
Health is a dumb stat. Who's with me?
No.
There's also, I guess, flipping for it. I don't know.
It's true. You could do that. You could have chat vote on it. You could always throw it to the whim of chat. That's always a good idea.
I really don't know what to do.
All
'Cause
right.
I mean,
so,
13 is, but that's the safe thing because I could end up with 9.
Right.
But there's a chance of doing better than 13
indeed.
and not being squishy.
What do you
So-
think, chat? Should Dr. Winterfield roll for dice? Arudinal says roll 1d6. If it's even, take a safe bet. If it's odd, roll for the stars. And Mrs. Dunsel says roll.
But
Mrs.
is
Chat
Dunsel's
has
very
spoken.
sensible. Mrs.
Chat
Dunsel's
has
very
spoken.
sensible.
yeah.
And Duncan also says roll. Oh, see. Chat believes you should roll. Chat, by which we mean Johnny, has decided to take the average. You already have your voice, sir.
What I don't know. So what's interesting to me is that Roll20 doesn't have a coin flip option.
That's true.
I
well,
just
then
I
do
don't
it-
understand that.
Well, then do what Arudinel said. So then roll 1d6 and
Yeah.
do what he says. If it's even, you do the safe. If it's odd, you roll for the stars. I think that's fair.
Okay. 1d6. All right. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Odd means, quote, roll for the stars.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
That's what I meant.
So it's D8.
Yes.
Mhm.
Come on.
7.
Seven.
See?
Hey!
Yay!
Good
The
job.
stars.
Good job.
There you go.
Nice. So that's 15.
Yeah,
15.
there you go. Now we
That's
have our
not
tank.
Garbage.
Now we have our tank.
Yay.
It's
Look
all
at
about
that.
rolling for the stars.
And you got the stars.
Yeah, see?
That's great.
It's all perfect. Everyone's happy. Okay, good stuff. I am most excited to see how this crew gets into things. So, having done that, chat, let's fire up a little bit of music and let's talk about what happened in our last adventure. Let's do this in, let's go with Busy Spaceport. There we go. That seems reasonable. Okay. In our last session, chat, the crew of the Runewake, in this particular case, was attempting to find out what was the source of a particular signal. They had discovered that it was in this derelict freighter in this basically uncharted portion of the galaxy, and they managed to get into that freighter and found there the away team, I should say, of Titus and Jaraxxus ended up finding there that the freighter had been abandoned, that there had been apparently some combat within that freighter. Let us be clear, and that there was something odd about the inside of the ship. For example, that there were blaster shots, score marks and things like that on the inside of the ship, as if someone had fired from within. And so the intrepid adventurers ended up finding their way into the area where the signal was coming from, and it turned out to be on the top of this massive mecha droid, that basically a titanium mecharoid, I should say, which rose out of the floor and along with some blade drones battled the party. And to be very clear, this was a tense fight. There was a lot going on, and the party did manage to disable and destroy the drone, which allowed them to get access to the signal generating core that had been there. But as the party was still dealing with drones, as people were getting shot and hit and all that other stuff, 2 starfighters for the Eternus Megacorp showed up and basically said, drop your cargo and that belongs to us, which was obviously never going to go because that was not going to work out. And so the characters of Dr. Winterfield and Ziriel, basically Ziriel came to help, I believe, Titus and Dr. Jaraxxus, while Dr. Winterfield was trying to figure out what to do, pilot the ship, try to deceive the starfighters into giving them some more time, etc., etc. The party managed to get back onto the ship, and after getting hit once or twice by the starfighters, did manage to escape into the galactic anomaly that was surrounding the freighter and escape. And at the very end of the session last time, they were told by Tren Peril that it was only part of a transmission, and that using the data and triangulating it, he had uncovered a broader, more powerful signal that was coming from an uncharted system in the outer zones. And so as we begin our session today, chat, which is entitled Planetfall, we now have to deal with the aftermath of that situation. And for those of you who have not been following from the beginning, let me encourage you to take a look at the videos on my YouTube channel from the previous broadcast, because this campaign actually has 2 groups, one group of fantasy characters, one group of Esper Genesis space-oriented characters, both being played by this gifted group of players, plus Cat Rambo. And they have had in their fantasy one, the person who is the head, the Primarch, has basically apparently lost his mind and is now decided to become brutal and savage and try to destroy all who stand in his way, etc., etc. So the party is on the run from him. And meanwhile, the space characters, these characters, have been dealing with this signal. And so as we begin with Planetfall, we have the following here that we've got to sort of think about. You find yourselves sitting in the office of one Tren Peril. Now, this is shortly after Tren Peril has revealed to you that this circuit, this signal, which was coming from this mysterious, derelict freighter, was triangulated in the ways that I've described before. And because of the exploration of Mirius Fen, the area where you found the freighter, and because of the connections that Tren was able to use, Tren now has you here with a proposition. And he says, as he's pointing up at the display of basically the Silrain Arc with this one pulsing signal, and he says, because of the good work you've done, we've got now some chance to get even more close to the secret that we've been coming for. And that's what you can see on this map. I've managed to requisition a long-range vessel, something that's got a lot more strength than the Runewake. It's called the Sunrider, and if all goes well, it's going to be our ticket to get to this place. I want to hire you again. You did a good job in finding this signal. I've already paid you for your work there, but I could pay you more. And, while we're at it, you'd be able to be part of a discovery that no one has found before. This section of the galaxy that this is coming from has never been charted either, but in fact, we've never heard any signals from it at all. Nothing remotely, just dead space, until now. That suggests that there's something, and our employers would like us to find that out. I would like to hire you to accompany me again. And he falls silent.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
no.
come on, Titus. It'll be fun. And
Do
plus,
you?
I could.
He did not tell us the truth last time.
What?
He only told us half. He only told us half truths. I don't trust him. I'm only here because I still trying to check in on you because you, Dr. Jaraxxus, you got yourself really injured.
I'm fine. I downloaded a new darknet technology, and I tap my like lab coat scientist garb that I wear,
Yeah.
and it somehow makes the sound of metal. It's a new drone technology. It's called Innervation. I'll be fine.
I don't
What
trust
do you
him.
mean he lied? I've been hearing from.
Yeah, what do you
both
mean
of
I
you.
lied?
Yeah, I was
You're
about
so
to ask, is he getting your
suspicious.
shot?
You're so suspicious of him. He said there was another company interested in the same beacon. They showed up.
He did not
it was
tell us what we were actually getting ourselves into.
because he didn't know.
Trent, might my colleagues and I go off for a moment to discuss this in private?
Oh, of course.
I'm not your colleague. I'm just a random ad here.
He says, of course, yeah, no problem. In fact, I'll even let you here use my office. And he stands up and he goes by and he says, and Titus, so you know, I wouldn't be hiring you again if I didn't know that you were the right people for the job. I didn't lie to you, and you escaped. You did the job. You're the people to come back to, obviously. You're making quite a name for yourselves. And he sort of looks down at you as you kind of growl from your 2-foot position, and he then goes out of the office, and the door shuts behind him.
He looks like he's got tasty ankles.
Titus, colleague, I do share some of your concerns. I have known Trin for years, but I also found him to not be forthcoming. As Dr. Jaraxxus and I have both known him, do you feel that he's still keeping something from us?
Oh, who are you asking?
You, Dr. Jaraxxus.
Oh, yeah, he could. Look, I did not say that he wasn't. Okay, Titus, I may have misunderstood. If you're saying that he was lying by omission, yes, I would say there's a lot that he probably knows that we don't. But everything he did tell us so far does line up.
Whether it lines up or not, he doesn't tell us the entire truth, and I have concerns about his choices, especially in choices of ships. But that's another story.
Well, if it would suit us better, I'm going to take this job, no matter what. I need the content, and so far, I'm not sure if you all have seen well, of course you have, the viral videos from our expedition to that ruined ship and the epic chase afterwards. It has proven to be very profitable, not only in Cubal, but also my reputation. So
If only you pursued your research grants with such fervor.
I don't need to pursue grants. Grants pursue me. But look, if it's a big problem, which I understand, why not? Let's come up with a specific list of questions for him, and we will not do the job, or I suppose you will not do the job, if he does not answer them.
But you've already made up your mind, so
I'm good,
What
yes.
particularly were you going to ask him?
This is for Titus to decide. You're Titus, I like you. I'd like to have you along, but I don't know, I'm just making a suggestion.
it's not about the questions, but you got yourself all banged up last time. I might as well keep you alive long enough so your fans don't freak out, all two or three of them.
Is that the only
You
reason?
should toss him some monetization of yours for keeping you alive,
Oh,
and to continue
gladly.
keeping you
I
alive.
don't. I keep youngins alive all the time. It's. I've been around this galaxy, hundreds of years. It's about keeping them alive. I don't need the money. My family's rich, anyways.
Good to know.
Yeah, very good to know.
Yes, the audience seems to like all of us in little different ways. Especially, Zek are very popular. You're unusual. Not that I'm usual, but
Well, clearly I am outnumbered. And you are my colleagues,
yes,
and I'm not going to abandon you.
I appreciate that. So, Titus, you're going to do the job because you are my personal healer. Is that what I'm hearing?
Because you're a youngin, and I just want to make sure you don't die.
I and my millions of followers will very much appreciate this. So, but listen, I will have your back. We've worked with him before, Dr. Renterfield and I, but I don't necessarily have a strong loyalty to him. So, if you do have concerns, we will help you.
I think we need to make sure that we communicate anything strange that's going on as quickly as we possibly can.
I can make that easy.
How?
Well, several means. Watch. And I point at any unlocked screen in the room, whether it's a keypad screen or a computer screen, whatever. And I trigger it to turn on. I triggered a fan to go off, basically using the trigger device prime talent, just activating devices.
Okay.
And I say, I don't want to waste this because it costs me money every time I do it. But I can open a channel in any device in 500 feet of me. So if we wish to communicate over a great distance. Plus, I also just have... I don't know what it would be called. Walkie-talkies is not the right word. But I'm sure we will be provided with communicators.
We should see if Trin has some aboard, but we need to make sure that we're not on a channel that he can eavesdrop.
Yes, we'll see. Okay. Well, should we go see what other derelict ship he wants us to go nearly die in next?
Uncharted territory is more than just a derelict ship. We have no idea what's out there.
Yeah, he's talking about a planet, right?
He's talking about an entire uncharted region of space. If we've been out there for thousands of years, and if we're going someplace new, I want to know what he knows right now about that. He's got to know more than he's letting on.
All right. Well, let's go see.
Okay. So are you leaving his office?
We are
I guess-
returning
Sophie.
to speak with Trin.
Yeah.
So when you leave the office, you can see that down the hallway, a fairly good distance, he's been standing with his arms folded, leaning against one of the walls. And when he sees you come out, he says, "Ah," and he walks towards you. Decision from all of you then.
I look at Titus.
Why are you looking at me? I'm following you.
No, you're not. I've checked on at least your sim account. I follow you.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, you mean in real life?
I don't follow anybody
Oh,
on
yes,
that
yes,
weird
yes.
social media stuff.
Yes,
Friend,
Thanks.
although we have our reservations, we will take the job. However, we would like to know if you have any means for us to communicate quickly. Extra comms, perhaps, so we're not taken off guard again.
I do.
This-
In fact, I thought exactly about that. It was during the time of when all of you were dealing with, well, the problems we had at the freighter. We need to have a better method of communication. And so I invested some of the money that we got from investment from our findings and the payments from our employers to be able to get a couple of extra comms. And he pulls out from a pouch at his belt what looked like essentially 4 small earpiece type things.
Yeah.
And he says, these are very special because they're not just wired to each other and encrypted. They're also wired into the main system of the Runewake. Why does that matter? Sorry, not the Runewake. You're not using that anymore. The Sunrider.
The new ship,
Sunrider. Not only is that valuable because it means that you are less likely to have them go out, but it also means that communication is instantaneous and you'll be able to be hooked into the computer systems. So if you need feed or, readouts from them, the Sunrider's computers will be able to help you instead of you having to do everything on site. So I thought about this ahead of time. What's more, and he, after hands them out, he says, I'm prepared to offer you a portable module of this. In other words, if all goes well with this particular thing, not only will you get more money, 1,000 cubal, he kind of points at all of you, he says, but in addition, you'll also get this system. I'll give you a portable unit, not as strong as the Sunrider's computer, but it means that you'll be able to plug it into something else. If you want to run it into a ship that you buy later on, you can do that, and that'll allow you to have much more effective communications than you could get on your own.
You threw
Great.
out the word offered as if we would need to pay for this.
Well, you wouldn't be paying for it, no, but it would be just on loan. You'd be just using it for the duration of the mission. But because I've been able to negotiate something more, it means you'll actually get it after the mission's over. That's what I'm saying. If you decide after that you're done with this and you want to go take your newfound winnings, your cubal, and go off and, well, do whatever you want to do. Build a restaurant somewhere. It doesn't matter to me. You can do that with this portable communication system just as a bonus for good work, you might say.
All right.
And he says, plus, the Runewake had some good aspects to it, but it wasn't the strongest ship I could have imagined. That's going to be different this time, because now, and he presses a button next to him in the hallway, and the hallway, which is not particularly wide, has these metal shutters, and the shutters rise, and he says, because now we're not going alone. And as the shutters rise, you can see glittering in the light of twin suns of this galaxy, you can see two, and first you think it's just two, and then you see more, several ships floating alongside what is a stylized, on the side of it you can see a stylized sun with flames coming off the back of it. It appears that you are part of a group of ships, not just one ship. And he says, these are going to accompany us. If Eternus wants to get smart again, they'll have to do it with and contend with actual military escort. And he kind of grins at all of you, and he said, I've had enough of people interfering with what we are trying to do.
So are we going to be followed by Eternus into this unknown area of the galaxy? Is that what you're implying?
I hope not, but I don't want to take any chances on your lives, Titus. I want to make sure in case they show up out of nowhere that we're ready to deal with them. But technically, we got the information, so hopefully we'll be a step ahead of them. But I can't promise, and that's why I'm bringing these guys as backup. The ships, by the way, that are with them look very sleek, like glinting metal and, all that you can see. They look to be in pretty good condition.
Well, what do we know about this sector of space? I mean, you say it's uncharted, but somebody must have wandered there first.
What's the mission?
It's called the Aldor system, and for a long time it was ignored as being just dead space. There are a couple of large asteroids, maybe a couple of dwarf planets that barely qualify as such. But for the first time, when we started seeing this signal, people wondered whether there could be others out there. At first, my thought was that maybe it was just someone bouncing a signal off of an asteroid, or perhaps someone seated a long-distance satellite there to throw people off the track. Mercs might do something like that, or, bandits, raiders, pirates. But the signal's too regular, and it's too strong, and what's more, I can't figure out what it comes from. Like the one that you detected, it's ancient. It doesn't have any known corollary to it. My guess is that this is, in fact, the actual source of the signal. What you found was the amplifying beacon from it. This allows us to triangulate that. So the Aldor system, Titus, we know almost nothing about it. And that's what makes this so exciting, potentially. We're going to an area that's never been seen before by, well, the eyes of living sentient beings that we know of.
Do you know how specific we'll be able to track this signal? Will we be able to nail it down to a planet?
Yes,
a
almost
building?
certainly. No, I think the planet for sure. I don't know about a building. We'll have to get closer to see, but definitely the planet. First of all, I don't think there's many bodies in there, planetary bodies that could qualify. But beyond that, this signal is very strong. In fact, Titus, that's the one thing that concerned me a little bit and why I asked for this backup too. The signal's so strong that if Eternus was able to find the freighter in the first place, it's conceivable, however unlikely, that they picked up on the amplified signal too. So they may know where they're going even if they don't have the details as well as we do. We'll be able to get to the source of the signal faster than them, that's certain. And if we can act quickly, we can be in and out before they even know the difference.
Do we know why a construct or automation was repeating the signal and amplifying it?
No, and that's what makes it so interesting to me. I don't know why you would do that. It's an automated beacon, but for what?
All right. How do we have a current distance from the signal? Do we know how long we expect to be out in space before we come upon this planet or moon?
A number of parsecs, probably, but in my guess, the Sunrider is a pretty quick ship, and of course our escorts are as well. So, if all goes well, it should be about a solar week, I would say, to be able to get there.
All right. And I'm assuming the same sort of hush-hush policy of probably don't want me live streaming our location just in case anyone from Eternus is watching. And
Exactly. But
Okay.
once we find whatever we find, and once we've got it back, you can feel free to broadcast anything you want after that. In
Of
fact,
course.
if Eternus spends their time worrying about your broadcast, they might spend less time about what we're actually doing with the information we find. But I don't know what we're going to do with it, because I don't know what information's there yet.
Although this might be one time, Dr. Jaraxis, that your live streaming might actually be useful. What if you put a stream out there to make Eternus think we're somewhere we're not? Could buy us some
Oh,
time.
That's a good idea. Can you do that?
Yeah, that would be disingenuous, but so is much of media. Sure.
Do it for
Yes.
the algorithm, Dr. Jaraxis.
Oh, you know exactly what to say, Dr. Winterfield. All right, all right. Yeah, I'll put something together. All right. Well, I'm ready. I'm excited to see what we find.
Everyone good to go?
And
No, but we should do it anyways.
so this item that we've got, is it a the communicator? Is it like a technical thing?
It is a interpersonal comm. It is very difficult to detect from the outside. In fact, it's designed to be difficult even to scan, so that if you were walking through a security door, security beacon or something, it's not very likely to trigger it. It is a physical item, so technically someone could, dig it out of your ear, but but it's not the kind of thing that is going to be sticking out and very obvious to everybody. So it'll be mostly hidden. It has a pretty solid range, supposedly
Yeah.
several, hundreds of feet. of range.
Oh, okay.
And as, again, it is tied into the Sunrider's central computer, which, by the way, is called SETA 5. SETA 5 is the computer system. And SETA 5 is a advanced computer system, advanced really AI-driven computer system to a degree. And so you're being able to be hooked into that means you have fairly significant access to information and so forth that you can access without having to, find computer terminals and do all that stuff, so long as you're within a certain range of the Sunrider.
My only other question is, what's the name of the company that we're working for again? I know that Eternus is the guys that are chasing us.
Right.
But...
you are working for, let me get that. It's another E. Hang on a second. It was Eternus, and the system in question was, where did I put the... I don't know where my notes are for the other.
Yeah. Was it like
Megacorp
something corporation, or I don't know. I don't remember.
Eternus Megacorp was the bad
it's the only
one.
Other thing I didn't write down.
Quote unquote, only bad one.
I've got to find. I need to track it down. I don't know where my notes went on the actual name of the good one that you're working for.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Eternus was the bad one. I'll try to track it down, but in the meantime, it's the same employer though. I will, however, say I do want to give you an opportunity for the three of you. Ziriel seems to be very quiet, sort of off in her own world, so to speak. So I would like the three of you, please, to make a lore check for me, please. So this is intelligence based. If you have the lore skill, great. Otherwise, it's just an intelligence check.
6.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm gonna need to ask how to do this because I'm proficient at lore.
Okay.
And I have a bonus of 5.
There you go. Then 5 would take into account the proficiency bonus, I think. So
okay, and my intelligence is 17.
So yeah, but that's all
Yep, that lines
incorporated
up.
in that. So
Okay.
So then just D20 plus 5. Hey, Rock God.
D20 plus 5. Okie dokie.
Titus, is that a 3? Is that what I saw, Johnny?
So
That
15.
is a 3. 15.
That's
Okay.
correct. That is correct.
Or-
It's
Okay,
great.
that's fine.
Yeah. And I think that roll, it doesn't say that you added anything.
No,
So
it was 15 plus 5.
Oh, so it's 20.
Yeah, so 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Titus and for Dr. Draxus, you're just like, to infinity and beyond. Like you're all set to go. But
Yeah.
but Dr. Winterfield, as you're looking at those ships, you're sort of reminded a little bit of something, and it occurs to you that you've had encounters with these ships before. It's not particularly ominous, but it's just notable that the Sunrider and the other 2 ships that are going with you almost certainly are part of a configuration of a intergalactic subcontracting group known as X-Pan. And X-Pan is a group that conducts patrols on the outer zones as supplemental law enforcement. So basically, they're kind of an advanced security force, might be a way to describe them. They are quite reputable. People pay for their services all the time. They're not cheap. That's one reason that you note this. They're expensive. They are reputable. They're quite good, apparently, at what they do. But they are definitely not. They are extra governmental, if you understand what I mean. Like they work for whatever the highest bidder, but they are reputable and they have a reputation for once they sign a contract, they don't bail and like go work for somebody else if they get given a higher thing, because they've always taken the long view. But clearly that's this group. Sunrider is obviously one of the ships in this small little, I don't know, division or fleet of 3, but they all seem to be X-Pan ships.
Tren,
Yeah.
is X-Pan involved on this expedition?
Yeah, that's who we hired. X-Pan is one of the best out here, and they won't ask extra questions, which is a good thing for us. But they're trustworthy, and they're not going to bail on us and go anywhere else.
So the signal isn't just a curiosity, it is a threat.
And he pauses for a moment, and then he says, "That's insightful as your reputation. Yes, there are some concerns about what this signal might mean. I think our employer is interested in us getting it for financial value and investment value, but I also think they want to know what the hell is out there."
What is X-Pan exactly?
And so he says, they're an extra governmental organization, kind of a merc squad. They've got a lot of ex-governmental actual pilots that have worked on there. And they have a lot of money, a good reputation, and they work with a lot of people, especially in the Outer Rim. It's one of these areas that governments don't have the money to send ships out this way, but X-Pan does, if you can afford it. The fact that we are going on an X-Pan ship means our employers are pretty impressed with what you all did in the last mission.
Have you flown an X-Pan ship before, Titus?
No is the answer to that, Titus, in case you're curious.
No. This is am I? And he turns to Trent and says, "They're paying for this. Am I expected to fly this, or it sounds like this group is something that you hire for their skill set. I'm not sure I would provide the same level of combat skill."
And he nods and he says, "That's right. This time you're not going to be needed for your piloting ability. We've got a crew, not a huge one, but a small crew on board the ship which is going to handle that part of things. It'll be your job to manage the actual dealing with the signal, whatever that is. The crew's not designed for that kind of stuff, although they can fly this ship in combat if need be. But the main combat work is going to be done by the two that are on side. Those ones are two of their good merc pilots. Some of the best, I was told, that they've got in the whole organization."
Yeah, I definitely want to be familiar with the ship, but otherwise, I'm going to stay out of their way.
All right. I do have one more requisition. I'm not sure what all of you have, but the armor that I was wearing the last time we were out admittedly did save my life, but only by about a centimeter. So I am wondering, is there any way I could try to buy something better light armor, or any of these X-Pan people have an extra suits of light armor or something?
Well, you certainly can have access to what we've got here on the base, and there'll be some decent quality things. I suppose, well, you've all got the Cubal that I gave you already. I could try to see if they'd be willing to sell you something. I don't know how much of a discount, but generally they don't sell to what they call civilians anyway. I can probably get them to waive that.
However, you did say they were impressed with our work, so if they would like to keep us alive, it would behoove them to give us better armor.
And he shrugs and he says, "I don't disagree. I can see what they've got." So if you want to actually go check that out, what you're basically offered is some of the basic armor that you could see that's available to you on page 132 there, Zach. Under that equipment. So you've got light, medium, heavy. You need light, right? So what are you wearing right now? Do you have a flight suit?
I have the armor jacket, which not too bad, but even if I am interested to see if they have light trooper or the infiltration suit, which I know is both of those are very expensive.
Right.
But...
They haven't. They actually do have both, but they are the infiltration suit. Is like full cost. Like they can't give you because they don't have a lot of them. But the light trooper one, they're actually willing to give you a 50 Cubal discount, so you could get that for 400 instead of 450.
Ooh, I don't know if we. I know that we got right now I have 125 Cubal. Did we all? I think we all got 100 Cubal or something.
Yeah, I know I have 200. So shouldn't you have the same amount?
I think some of us get starting Cubal. Let me see what mine would have been.
But you could pool your resources,
Oh yeah, which I don't know if that will be worth it. But let me see. Starting wealth. Oh, yeah. I don't know if we ever did starting wealth
We might not have because
because that's on literally the previous page where it says like I think we did it for our fantasy characters, but like Cybermancer says 44 times 100 cubal, and I only have 125. But
oh well,
that
then
could-
go ahead and roll that because we probably
Okay,
did
great.
not do that for the
Oh.
Esper Genesis
All right.
characters.
Where do we find that information?
Page 131. All right.
You can do the same, Johnny. For
Wow.
yours.
So whoa.
Already
I don't
good.
and I don't even know if we did this for our original Esper Genesis characters, but yeah, I start with 1100. Cubal.
So Adeptus 3d4 times 100?
That's. I think that's right. That sounds right to me.
So
Yeah.
how do I do? So I just roll the d4 3 times?
Yeah, or type
3. Or choose the 3?
Yeah,
the-
however, I don't know if you're using the die roller on the left side.
Yeah, that's
tool.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, so choose the 3 next to D4.
One note though about that 1100. Some of your original kind of loadout though would have probably taken that. So like the armor jacket that you're wearing you wouldn't
Okay.
just come with that. Like that would have used you would have used the cubal for that. So it means instead of 1100, Zach, you probably have
Oh,
like
that's right.
1,000 for the armor and like
Yeah.
1,000 after you paid for it, and then whatever the weaponry. So
You're right.
I don't know if you want to go through all that again, but probably that brings you down somewhat. A little
You're
more.
right. Yeah, I didn't realize it says alternatively you may receive a certain amount of cubal wealth. So this is actually
Because you've got
So, yeah.
equipment, right? So
Right.
yeah.
okay. So yeah, I'll subtract the cost of what I have.
Okay.
Did you say by 10 or by 100
By 100.
It says by 100.
in the starting money?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing by 10.
Hold on. A
It's
second.
interesting.
Let me check. Let me check.
Page
Yeah, it's page 131, right?
Yeah, my version says 100.
Yeah, mine does too.
That's weird. Mine version
Might be a
says
different
10. This is
vision.
really strange. Yeah, I'm wondering if you guys have later versions of the book
Or
I have
earlier,
10.
don't know.
I have 10 also.
I think we
in
should
the
go
in
by
the
the
printed copy.
Yeah,
probably
the
the
printed
printed
copy. I
copy
see
then.
10.
All right.
Which actually
So-
is a little more logical.
Yeah.
100 is ridiculous. So
Okay.
I think probably you're looking at more like 3d4 times 10 for your
Yeah.
starting Toya for
Okay.
Dr. Winterfield.
So that's 90 then, because I've rolled
Yeah,
a
that's
9.
more rational. Yeah.
Okay, so actually this is going to pretty much just flatten out for me then because the armor jacket's already 100.
Yeah. So it works out
Yeah,
about the same.
so okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
it's-
now you have whatever you were given
Yeah, yeah.
for
Alright.
the mission.
Good to
So,
know.
yeah.
Good to know.
So that means all of you have what you were given for the mission. So
Okay.
what is that
Um,
amount total for everybody? Like you have 125. What do you
I
have?
have 125. Yeah.
Okay,
is what I
Toya, what
put
do you
down.
have for?
So
what is-
I've got 290 then, because
Okay.
I have 200.
So 290, and then Titus, what do you have for yours?
150 to start.
Okay, so 150, 290. Is that counting the award that you got of the 100 cubal?
No,
for
that would
the-
be so I did not buy anything
So
of
you
the-
have
the
250
cost
now,
because I
then.
think yeah, so basically I have 250.
So you have 250. You got 290 for Dr. Winterfield, and you've got how much? Sorry,
125.
Okay, so yeah, you've got about 600 some odd to play with.
So, yeah, the doctor will say, yeah, these options are a bit too weighty, and I don't wish to ask anyone else for their cubal. So, unless we want to pull in for like some sort of tool,
Although I do recall Titus saying that he's rich and he does want to keep you alive.
That's you see, you caught me without my pocket. I knew that was going to happen eventually. I knew that. Yeah, I don't have a problem giving the money. He needs the armor. I don't want to be having to combat save him every single time. So, and
Would you
Titus
like to
just gives
keep
over.
anyone else on the crew alive?
well, yeah, you seem pretty cautious. So I think I'm going to be like focusing on Dr. Jiraxis a little more because he seems to get in trouble a little bit more often, or at least that's my experience so far. But you're right. I'm rich, and hands over the money.
okay. Well, I turn to Dr. Winterfield. If you have 25 cubal, then I can get myself a nice new trooper armor.
Rock God says, I thought at this point in my life I'd be making 3d4 times 100, but it turns out I'm making 3d4 times 10. Yes, I understand that feel, Rock God.
Wait, I thought Titus said he was paying for everything.
Well, you Titus, you do not have 400 kubel, do you?
His family's rich.
My family's rich, but I don't carry it around with me. There's not a Zek, bank local here. It's all the family fortune on the home planet. What? Do you think I'm crazy? There are too many hooligans out in this part of the galaxy. Look, I got 250. Do your best with it.
Consider it an investment. Once I
Or
surely...
you ask Trent for an advance. I mean, he is giving us money too. So, I mean,
Yes.
you could do that. I mean,
You get the impression, by the way, from talking to Tren, that he will supplement, like if you're 10 or 20 short, he doesn't have the extra coin to supplement, because apparently a lot of his money went into like hiring the X-Pan and those people to keep you alive. So plus the communication system.
I look down at my sim unit and I'm like,
Oh, of course. I'm live streaming this entire conversation, by the way. One of my followers just said, trade my old armor. Duh. What am I talking about?
And that's true, that you can actually, now they will take your old armor back, although they will not take it back for the full cost. The merchant kind of is like, looks like this thing's been shot to hell. What were you doing with it out there?
Hey, it's it saved my life. And I think that's enough value.
They will give you 1/4 of its value that you paid for. So they'll give you 25 kubel. The thing was devastated from attacks on you.
That's exactly the amount I needed. So
there you go.
With Titus's donation. So okay. So we'll spend everything just to increase my armor class by 1.
Now, one thing about the Light Trooper suit. So the Light Trooper is a padded suit with a hardened flexible overlay. So it's kind of standard issue, and very effective. The one thing to keep in mind is that it is a little bulky, and you are going to be at disadvantage if you are stealthing with it. I don't know if that matters to you. It's not going to. It will not affect your ability to like jump or run or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just that it's kind of not particularly hidden. So the infiltration suit would be, but that's also 3 times the cost. So,
I'm already at a -1 for stealth. So might as if the food is poisoned, might as well lick the plate. You know what I mean? So
I love the idea. So there you go. You have your light armor.
Is there an extra amount of like negative to that when you're live broadcasting too? I mean, or was it like a +3 or something?
Okay,
I mean, a -3 or something.
Quiet. Be very quiet. Go into emote only mode, chat. Emote only.
Big donation comes in. Yeah.
Right.
All right, great. Okay, that's enough of this shopping arc of this episode. Yeah, so I'll get the light trooper armor, and I'm ready to go. Thank you.
Dr. Jaraxis, have you begun the decoy stream?
Well, I still needed to sort of workshop that idea. To be honest, I was just going to point the camera at sort of a indistinct place and lie. I have no particular means right now to actually, make the code say that I'm somewhere else, but I've done this many times. You say that you're actually on the luxury, vacation cruiser, but it's a rented junker ship. You just find a nice corner, you clean the grime off the walls, and find a nice chair, and there you go. Not that I would ever do that.
Do you also place post-its on the wall behind you when you just have the chair?
Sometimes. Oh, yes, look up some equations, post them. Equations that I learned and done before, of course. So that means I can do that.
They'll assume you are working. And perhaps you
Exactly.
can put some unsolved equations up there.
Exactly. And, it promotes some interaction. You get some followers that are like, hey, that's the answer. I'm like, oh, great.
I was thinking more that Eternus might be spending most of their time trying to solve the equations instead of looking for us.
Right. Let's work on this together. Here, let's find... Are we on the Sunrider right now?
No, you're just about to go to it, I assume.
Okay. So I say, when we get on this nice ship, you and me, let's find a nice little corner, and we'll make it our fake corner, and set up all sorts of alternate plots and fake equations.
I'll get the paper and the string.
I love it.
As everyone gets on the ship to head off, I am going to remind everyone in chat that you're watching Day 5 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks Planetfall, sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment. I'm joined today by Johnny Pittman, by Toya Kristen Finley, and by Zach Clay. And Cab Rambo is not with us today and will not be here November, but will be back with us for our December sessions. If you like what you see and hear, chat, here is a way that you can support the players directly. You can cheer in chat. Any cheers that are done in chat today will go towards will be distributed among the streamers. So if you do official cheers using Twitch's bits that you can do, then that money will go directly to the players. So now and during the session is the time to do that. If you would like to support them directly, please consider doing that, because that would be very much appreciated by them. Once you're on board and as a quick programming note, by the way, we will roll for about another half hour before our break, if that's cool. So about 9:40, 9:45 is what I'm looking at, Eastern. So, as you get on the Sunrider, there are a couple things to note about this place. First of all, the ship definitely is newer than the Runewake is. The Sunrider definitely feels like it's a more kind of current model. It is, however, also has somewhat tight quarters. There is a cargo bay and a mess hall, which gives you a chance for the crew, including yourselves, to work on projects and socialize. And the crew themselves, it is a small crew of about 5 in addition to the 3 of you. I should say the 5 of you, because it's the 4 of you plus Tren, who comes with you as well, of course. But there's an additional crew of 5, and they seem to be quite competent. You also notice that the crew is very tight-lipped about their own pasts. They are all mixed cultures from the Silrain Arc. So there's a Dendusi, there's a Kesh, there's a Matakai, even. There are a number of different groups from the Silrain Arc that you can find here. But they're very tight-lipped about what they did before this. And if you know something about Xpan's reputation, that may be because Xpan looks for the best and the most reliable, not the ones with the cleanest previous rap sheet, if you know what I mean. So they're very much driven by what can you do now, and will you screw us over? And they're very good about getting people that will not do that. But they also were not, not always always flew the straight and narrow. That said, they are quite effective at what they do. So with the tight quarters of the ship and everything, there's a lot of opportunity to be close to each other. And for the first couple of days, while Dr. Jaraxis and Dr. Winterfield, I imagine, are working on their secret corner and so forth with the string and all that, I'm curious about what Titus is doing for those first couple of days of the journey, first half of it, let's say. Titus, what are you doing during this time?
Titus would be getting as much information as possible from the crew of the ship to be prepared to take over should there be a problem.
Okay.
Basically learning, with any given sort of like starship situation, there would be a series of roles that would be easily identifiable for Titus to be able to just jump into and start, being able to do. But then there are the specific stuff of an individual, specific stuff of an individual ship that Titus would then want to really be more familiar with. So, for example, let's take, a stock, light freighter like, the YT-1300 versus the Millennium Falcon kind of a thing, right? There would be a bunch of modifications. Titus would imagine that that's the case with this particular ship. And so he would want to know those details just in case he needed to be a supported role in some way.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest modification that you note for sure, the ship is actually, as I said, sort of well managed and well coordinated and fairly new. And it looks like there have not been a lot of there are no telltale smuggler like areas like you might find in the Millennium Falcon, to jump out of game for a minute. Like, it seems like this was designed to do what it says it was, which is to be able to transport people and some cargo, but to do so in a safe and relatively secure way. The one thing that you do notice is different is, or at least more advanced, is the AI computer system, which also helps power your comms that you were given, which is this set of 5. As you work with it over the next few days, Titus, you are struck by how agile the set of 5 is at being able to kind of like coordinate systems, and even as you run several simulation protocols to kind of figure out how to take over the ship if need be, that sort of thing. Like, set of 5 is like, understands that, is giving you methods and suggestions and like ways to kind of improve on this, that, or the other. It's very helpful, and you're very impressed with its ability to teach, I guess is what I would say, as much as anything else. So that definitely seems like a modification, if it is one that you have not seen before. But that said, the rest of the ship seems fairly straightforward, and not quite as clunky even as something like the Runewake might have been. Your escort, by the way, the 2 fighters that have come along with you, have been just sort of in back as you've been sort of, passing through parsecs of space. They have been trailing in their ships, and there have been occasionally moments where they've gone out on extra patrols to sort of scout around, because they got what might be like an unidentified thing, although it was always like an asteroid or something like that, and then they would come back. So everything seems to have been normal, and in fact the crew on the actual Sunrider seems very pretty chill. Within, let's say, about a day or so, I would say, of the getting to where the signal was, Tren calls you into the bridge, all 4 of you, and points up at the map. Now, all along, the map has had that blinking signal, and you've been getting obviously closer to that blinking signal. And he says, as you all come in, I wanted you to see this for yourselves. So we're about a day out now, 1 solar day. So far, so good. But we've got a little more information now on that beacon. And so he puts it up, and basically you hear this, actually, where's my... Give me that echo. So it's like... Pick-a-doop, pick-a-doop, pick-a-doop. Same thing. But... so he puts up basically a waveform version of it on the screen, right? So on the front screen, there's this right? And he points at it, and he says, "Now that is not something you or anyone else has seen for a while, I bet." And he points at it, and he says, "That is over 400 years old. That's the carrier wave on which the signal is coming. There's a few older ships, mercs or salvage fleets maybe, that might use similar formats. But that thing has been around for a long time." Now, if you wish, you could try, any of you, could try to make an effort to analyze more of that signal. He's able to do this because you're closer to it now, so you're getting more, basically, from it.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I'm
what
looking
skills
for
would that entail?
computers is what I'm looking for, a computers check.
Okay, I've got a bonus of 3 on my computers,
Okay, you could definitely do that too if you wish.
and my intelligence is 17. So that's what am I rolling?
Well, it should have it up there already, like sort of put in. So +3
Yeah.
counts that extra bonus.
Are you proficient in computers?
Yes.
So
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
have the check mark?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
so
not.
just
Okay.
the +3 for your intent.
Can
What's
I,
up, Johnny?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because of the way that you're talking about this displayed on what we're seeing on a display is a sine wave, essentially.
Sort
right?
of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, well, sort of, like we're seeing some sort of wave pattern on a
Right,
screen.
that's
okay, that implies that this is actually analog technology, potentially.
Could well be.
Would that be right?
Yes, could well be.
Then
How-
would mechanics actually apply
No,
here?
because it's being-
this is about the electronics, the hardware elements of it, not necessarily the software elements.
That's true. What I'll say is I'll give you the chance to do a mechanics check to see if it is indeed analog, but it's being interpreted, though, digitally. So either way, you'd need a
Okay.
computer check to kind of see what it's saying. But I will give you a mechanics check to see if its origin is analog, because that's interesting.
Okay, I'll let Toya go first with her roll, and then I'll
Right.
I'll do that one separately.
Okay, I don't know how to add the +3 here, so I'll just roll the d20 and then add 3 to it.
Okay. Yep.
20.
Whoa!
Wow.
Wow.
All right, I'll
You
still
see
roll as
all.
well.
You hear it
15.
speaking to you.
I'll
It
take
says,
that 20.
"Hello,
Wow,
hello."
that's
No.
23 for her.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Okay, 23. You had a 15? Is that what-
Yeah,
okay.
the system owed me for them garbage rolls last
That's
time.
very
so-
true. And Titus, you're just like, I don't know. I mean, it could be. Jesus. Yes, what you were definitely, both of you were able to tell, but in particular, I would say Dr. Winterfield is able to tell this, is that this is a couple things. A, almost certainly this is a distress beacon. And B, almost certainly it was either corrupted or encrypted at the source, meaning that you can't get any other information from it remotely. But it was definitely a distress beacon, and it's definitely been at the source either corrupted or encrypted.
This is a distress beacon. It was encrypted at the source. So, something very dark was happening there.
And Tren kind of looks up at you and like, really? And he kind of looks back at the waveform.
So that is to say, someone called for help, and then either redacted the help, but it was too late, or something else came in to try to corrupt the call for help.
It appears that way, Dr. Jaraxis.
My theory. This is the recording. This won't be for the live stream. This is for, after this when we're chilling on a beach with pina coladas. My theory is that I think whatever corrupted the signal is still down there.
That is a good assumption. I would agree with that.
Thanks.
And Tren sort of nods and he says, then we're going to have to take it easy. We'll be there in less than a day and we'll know for sure.
All right.
From there, the rest of much of that day passes relatively uneventfully. When you're about 3 to 4 solar hours out, and the ships are beginning to power down out of their sort of warp speed, basically dropping into more normal speed. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Titus. Titus, you are in a room in your quarters, I would say, maybe looking at one of your rigs. You can tell me what you might be doing there because you're only a few hours out. And you find yourself getting extremely tired. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Oh.
I mean unusually tired.
I don't like you anymore. Ghost Constitution save reasons, I swear. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take a 19.
So you find that like you're getting sleepy and then you're like, and you find that the air in your quarters feels like it's getting thin.
Titus is going to disengage from what he's doing with his rig.
Okay.
And open up the door and then step outside and take some really deep breaths.
And you feel fine immediately. The air out there is completely normal.
Set of 5 is the name of the AI.
Yes.
And it's available through our comms. Is that correct?
That's right. You can access it anytime you like.
Set of 5? Are you there?
And there's a brief pause, as always, and then... and then... Yes. Titus Littlefoot, acknowledged.
You can just call me Titus.
Yes, Titus Littlefoot, Titus.
Just, okay. Are you detecting any anomalous issues in the environmental controls, specifically in my quarters?
And there's a pause, and then it appears that the breathable air vent was, for a brief period of time, limited in its production of air. The problem has been rectified.
Do you are you saying it's just local to my quarters?
That is correct. I do not detect any other disruption in breathable air anywhere across the entire ship. It appears only to have affected your room, Titus Littlefoot Titus.
Can you diagnose the cause?
Checking. And there's a pause, and then I am unable to determine the given cause. It seems like perhaps a mechanical defect had not been previously recognized. I am now routing air around the mechanical defect and will place a repair order into the X-Pack and the coordinator at the earliest possible opportunity. In the meantime, may I recommend that you avoid exceptionally strenuous activity within your cabin for the next 30 solar minutes.
Can I get the location of this particular issue so that I can take a look at it myself?
Certainly. It is in the vent, in the ceiling, above your bunk. About 8 feet above your bunk, to be clear, Titus. Is that acceptable, Titus Littlefoot Titus?
Yes, and we'll go over decorum and protocols and in respect to names in our next conversation. Can you lock the door open so that airflow is not disrupted in here?
I will. And the door slides open and stays there.
Titus engages his gravity boots.
Okay.
And begins to walk his way up the wall.
Okay, so okay, you're able to get up to the vent, which is less. You're literally basically hanging upside down from your gravity boots, with the vent right next to you.
And he is going to use mechanics, I guess, to open the vent.
And yeah, so I would say you don't even need to make a mechanics check for this. The thing opens unless you're trying to pry open the thing, but assuming you're just opening it normally, it seems to be fine. There seems to be a kind of a mechanical toggle that seems to be presumably remotely triggered by the systems of the ship, but It seems like the toggle was kind of locked in place. And so what has now happened is there's an additional metal bar which has been placed across. And as you're looking, you can see there is a little mechanical drone scuttling away, presumably having just placed the metal bar to hold the toggle in place so that it can't close off, the vent again.
Okay. The vent is up. Is that correct? So it's up, and then is there like a lip? How far is the lip inside of it? Kind of.
Yeah, the lip is basically so it's up about I don't know, maybe it's not much more than a foot, because you can see, even with that, through the grate, you can see the drone disappearing. So without having to open the grate and actually go up and look. And then it goes pretty far away somewhere into the bowels of the ship.
So this would be really difficult. I mean, because Titus is only 2 feet and he's hanging here. So it would be kind of a challenge for him to actually, maneuver himself in a way to be able to kind of grab it and then let go of the gravity boots to pull himself up into it. So.
Exactly, because, well, for one thing, too, the vent, remember, so it's slatted, right? There are slats that are open. So you'd need to pry the panel open to be able to get up into it.
I'm sorry. I thought that Titus was going to take the time and actually do. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. And so Titus is going to walk his way back down.
Okay.
And go look for the rest of the crew.
Okay. As you're doing that, Dr. Jaraxis, you are in the process of making final calculations and checks on your fake stream, which I don't know if you've started that yet, but like the preparations for it, I think it might be fair to say.
Yeah.
And you're kind of preparing yourself, and you have all of your gear kind of positioned properly. And as you are sort of setting up your kind of one of your remote cameras, I guess, to kind of put there, you hear a kind of a like a slight hum, like almost an electrical sounding hum coming from the wall near one of your remote cameras. It's not increasing in sound, like it's not zzz, but it's just like a low hum.
Getting a bit of speaker feedback. Hold on.
I go over towards the sound to see how to fix it.
When you go over near to the wall, suddenly there is a zzz, a pop, and a spark shoots out as the panel shoots out at you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Gladly. That is my weak suit. 4.
Okay. You are zapped by essentially an electrical shock. You are going to take here. You are going to take 4 points of damage, Dr. Daraxis, as you were zapped by this. And then when you sort of are like, ugh, like, you know, kind of get up, you can see that the panel which has sort of fallen loose, and you can see several what look like basically sparking wires from an electrical circuit behind the wall. The circuit now seems to have been broken, so it's slightly sparking, but it doesn't seem like it's buzzing and it's going to shoot out again. But it's like there was an overload just then.
Oh, look. This nice armor, my innervation. I'm untouched.
That's true, actually. You are untouched.
Yeah,
aren't you,
I cast Innervate again.
Yeah.
Just to keep it going. So now get back up 5 temporary HP anyway.
Okay.
And say, kind of take a look out. So yeah, now I should be at 15 and 5. But
Got
anyway.
it.
Well, that's a problem.
Am I in the misfortune that this now missing panel is in the shot of what we're trying to do?
No, it actually fortunately shot below the level of the of the camera, fortunately.
And it's no longer sparking or anything?
It was slight sparking, but not anything that looks like it's actively going to like blow up or anything.
Okay. Does it, I know you said it overloaded, like is there a wire that's like split in like the innards of the wire? Okay.
Yes, but it looks like it's hard to tell whether it looks like that happened when this happened, basically.
I should probably, fix this.
I pull out my micro tool set and I'm going to yeah, he'll attempt to reconnect the wire just using mechanics, I guess.
Okay, let's have you make a mechanics check, please.
Okay. 14.
Hi, Wispy Song also. Yeah, you're able to reconnect it, roughly. I mean, it's not, it's the, perhaps electricians would not be totally down with the job, but it works. And it seems very odd because it doesn't seem like there's enough current in here to have created enough of a explosion to pop the panel out.
Yeah.
But clearly, at some point it was.
Huh. Okay. I'll go try to find Tren to complain.
As you do that, Dr. Winterfield, you have been momentarily on your own on the ship. I'm curious what you would be doing on your own on the ship, like maybe research-wise or something along those lines.
Meeting the crew.
Ah, perfect. So, as you've been chatting with some of the crew, and they've given you a lot of first of all, you've gotten a lot of interesting kind of information from them about like different, languages and cultures, and they've talked with you about a whole bunch of stuff, and about they've always tried to keep on the down low their past. That's always like the one thing they don't want to get into, but they've talked a little bit about like asking you about your beliefs about what you're going to find and about what this trip is and that kind of thing. And you are following one of them out of this particular room because the crew member was going to basically show you this one area that basically was going to show you some stuff from their home planet. And when they walk out, and then the hatch closes like normal, and then you come up and it opens again. But as you walk through, suddenly the hatch closes super fast, much faster than it's supposed to. I need you to make a saving throw for me, please, a dexterity saving throw to get out of the way of this hatch closing.
Okay, and my dexterity's garbage, so.
Apparently, I've successfully given each of you the worst conceivable thing.
Yeah.
Not at all part of the plan, but, hey, I'll take it.
15.
Okay, so you do manage to duck just in time as it, closes, and the crew person in front of you turns like, oh, and runs back and is like, are you all right? What's going on? And he kind of pounds on, and he walks up to the hatch and immediately just opens just totally normally. And he kind of like narrows his eyes and he kind of looks in and he sort of puts his arm through and then takes it out quickly and it doesn't do anything. He steps back in the hatch and then he comes over to you again. He's like, are you, Dr. Winterfield, are you all right? And he kind of, helps you up.
What's the NPC's name?
The NPC's name was Ellint.
Ellint?
Ellint.
Ellint.
Ellint. Ellint.
Ellint, I am fine if not a bit shaken. Are you accustomed to these types of malfunctions?
No, I've never seen anything like it. It doesn't do that. There's multiple sensors. There's no way it can do that.
What could have caused this?
It's got to be a malfunction with and he kind of, taps in. He goes over to one. Now, he doesn't have one of those cool comm like things that you have, but he does have, obviously, there's a comm panel. So he clicks into it and he says, set of 5. And set of 5 says, acknowledged. We're down here in subsection 5. Can you explain what happened to the door to Brig 6? And there's a pause and then, the door to room 6 appears to have experienced a temporary malfunction. The problem has now been addressed. Are there any injuries which are of concern? No, but no thanks to this, he says. What do you mean there was a problem with it? What problem? How did it happen? Why was there what happened here? Unknown. This seems to be a temporary situation which has now been rectified.
Dr. Winterfield is going to communicate via interpersonal comms to Titus and to Dr. Jaraxis.
Got it.
Titus, Dr. Jaraxis, come in.
I mean, where?
Yep.
There was just an extraordinary malfunction with the hatch, and I believe I have a theory.
This, by the way, is happening as Jaraxis, you've just left your room to go find, the crew and basically complain to Tren. And just as Titus, you have left to go find the crew after your run-in with the vent situation.
I am concerned that this signal is causing havoc on the ship.
That's very strange. I was just going to complain to our friend Tren about a panel that nearly knocked over my camera, and would have knocked over me. Titus, did anything happen to you?
Yeah, the air in my cabin just became a little thin. I checked the vent. There was a mechanical problem. I'm not sure it's the signal, but I think we need to have a conversation with Trent regardless. There's a little bit too much coincidence going on here.
Maybe this ship is just a piece of crap.
Not with X-Pan.
Zeta 5 did not have any further information for me, which is a little bit of a concern because it should be monitoring all of the ship systems, including things like environment and essentially doors. This is a problem.
So Dr. Winterfield is now going to communicate with Seta 5.
Okay.
Seta 5, has anyone changed your programming recently?
I am not aware of any programming alterations, although there have been several, you hear pause and then, blackouts.
Did you hear that, Titus and Dr. Jaraxis?
Did we hear
Yes.
that?
Yeah, sure. Let me see. Well, if assuming that Dr. Winterfield asked for that to be conveyed to everybody, then Set of 5 would speak to you all, collectively.
Yeah, we're on interpersonal comms.
Okay, so then yes.
Can you elaborate about these blackouts, Seta, please?
They appear to be gaps in awareness and understanding. There have been limited and presumably based on a mechanical defect in the system, but I have run multiple diagnostics and have not discovered anything as of yet. I do not know whether this is simply an anomaly. I will check further.
What else would cause those blackouts?
Besides mechanical defects, cyber invasion.
Set of 5, can you tell me where Tren is right now?
Tren Peril is currently on the bridge.
And Titus
No,
just
kidding.
takes off as fast as his little legs will take him and runs for the bridge.
Okay, what about the other two, Draxus and Winterfield?
You were talking about what did cyber what?
Invasion.
Cyber invasion. Set of 5. Has there been any cyber invasion within the past? Well, have there been any cyber invasion since we detected the signal?
I am not aware of any, Dr.
Run
Naomi
a diagnostic.
Winterfield.
Run a diagnostic.
Acknowledged. And so you hear this, like, ring, and then... My systems appear to be operating at optimal efficiency, but there are several gaps that are present in the record printing which has just been constructed. One of those gaps occurred within the last 5 solar minutes.
Let's go talk.
How
to
can
Tren.
you be running optimally if you have gaps, if you have blackouts?
It is true, Dr. Naomi Winterfield, that this is an inconsistency. I cannot account for the discrepancy myself. However, it is the case that this area of space, according to media reports, is known as the Bermuda Hypertriangle of missing ships and disasters. Perhaps there is a correlation or an association with the gaps in my knowledge. To be clear, this is the first you've ever heard of this Bermuda Hypertriangle thing. So Jaraxis, just to be clear, I don't know what Dr. Winterfield has moved yet. Jaraxis is, I think, now moving, I think was my impression, towards the bridge. And Titus is almost there, having booked it from the very beginning. So are you, Dr. Winterfield, heading up as well?
Oh,
or
I
are you...
wanted to ask Ellent a question.
Okay.
Ellent, have you...
And Ellen didn't hear any of that, by the way, because that's just you communicating. Yeah.
But the rest of the crew did. I just want to confirm that.
No, the only ones who have heard this allegedly are the 4 of you who were in that comms thing, and supposedly Tren, although Tren may be occupied with bridge stuff. So
That's all I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ellent, if something happened to Set of 5, could it cause these malfunctions?
I suppose it's possible, but that thing's supposed to be as secure as it gets. I mean, Set of 5, the protocols on that thing are incredible. You know what X-Pan paid to get that thing in here in the first place? It was crazy. It could have paid 6 of our salaries for solar decades.
And who or what could hack into it?
You got me, boss. I just work here on the crew. I don't know anything about that. My job's more engine work. But, I mean, if anything can hack in to get to Set of 5, it's kind of a, well, it's kind of a mess.
And has anyone who shouldn't have been on this ship been here in the past few days?
Not that I know, and you can see this ship isn't a very big one. If there was a stowaway or something, we'd have found him by now. It's not big enough barely for us to be able to stay here.
Is there a backup system to Set of 5? I'm not sure it's running optimally.
Well, technically, the Sunrider can run full mechanical if it has to, but it's going to handle like a pig and then he stops. He's like, sorry, it's an old Terran expression. It won't be good. It won't handle well. But technically, we could switch it if we had to. But it's going to cut down all the comm systems, too. And as you're about to respond, you hear from the bridge, you hear Tren saying, attention crew. Actually, this is slight echo. Sorry. Attention crew. We are closing in to the Aldor system. We'll be passing over in the next 10 to 15 solar seconds, upon which we'll be entered into the system. And so you, Titus, at this point, he's finishing that message, and the bridge doors open as you come storming through, and he's like finishing his art. He's like, looks back. He's like, what's going on?
Stop! Full reverse. Get us out of here right now.
Full reverse? What are you talking about?
What is this Bermuda Triangle stop that we've just been told by Set of 5? Full stop. And he looks over at the pilot and he says, if you don't stop, I'm going to stop it for you.
The pilot reaches forward, and suddenly you hear from the system and you all begin to float. And you hear from the sound of from the Set of 5's dulcet tones, emergency gravity system has been shut off. Which is a good spot for us to take our break. You are watching Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. I'm joined by Johnny Pittman, Toya Kristen Finley, and Zach Clay. We will be growling with Cat Rambo not with us tonight. We will be gone for just about 5 minutes. We'll come back at the top of the hour, a little bit after 10 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll be with you for about 45 minutes to an hour, not much more than that. I want to close before 11 o'clock Eastern. And we will see what they do with a lack of gravity. I'm sure it'll be fine. Don't forget, chat, if you're enjoying what you see, please do cheer in chat, because cheer money is going to be money that goes directly to these wonderful players. So please do that. Otherwise, we will see you lovely folks in just a moment. Hang tight. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Now I am going to unmute the folks in question, and am I at liberty to switch us over? Toya, can I do this?
Yes, you may do so.
All right, chat,
Yes.
be ready. Be ready. Look at how the insane cuteness. That is really adorable. Oh my goodness.
What a
Say
beautiful
hello,
puppy.
Keiko.
It looks a little bit like my Beagle Trilby that I had. Oh my goodness.
She has
Dia's
some
cute.
interesting brindling on her head.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if she's got some pity in
Some
her.
ha-
She's
or
definitely
hound.
a terrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does the pointer thing. She's tiny. She's got stubby little legs. It's funny because when she sits, it's not for long where she just sticks her her hind legs out because her legs are so short.
Wispy Song is
Yes.
cheered 1,000 for Keiko. Thank you,
Look at that,
Wispy.
Keiko. Look at that. Yes. And she's about a year old. She was abandoned with her two sisters in a rural Florida county, and the volunteer of the rescue picked them up and drove them back from Florida to Tennessee. And so her other two sisters got adopted pretty quickly. They're all doing great. She's fantastic. She gets into everything. So she had taken a folder off of a bookshelf upstairs when I went to go get her. So, but
Just trying to read.
she's
Yeah, you know.
feisty. She's funny. She's doing great with my 4-year-old Pity Mix, who loves everything, quite frankly. But yes, here she is.
She seems like a
Say
sweetheart.
hello to everybody, Keiko.
She seems
Say
like a
hello.
sweetheart.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. I think what happened is that she's been following along, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh crap! I got to help them somehow." So she's like, "Let me read about gravity. I don't know what that is. Maybe I could." To be
That's
able to
funny.
do that. Thank you, Wispy, for the cheer. And yes, Chad, you have another half hour, roughly speaking, to contribute and do this stuff. Oh my goodness,
I
Emily! Thank
appreciate
you.
it, Emily. Thank
500
you.
more
Thank
bits.
you.
Thank you, Emily. Aw, that's very
And
kind
if-
of you.
If it's okay with chat and with my fellow players, I'm going to take her back out of the room because I don't have a way to keep her here comfortably.
Yeah, that's fine. We understand.
Alrighty, I will be right back.
Thank you for the moment of sharing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say
Very
bye-bye.
cute.
Oh, I miss dogs. Miss my dog soon. Thank you, Emily. That was very kind of you. And thank you, Wispy. Okay, so in just a second, we will get started again. We are going to stop at the bottom of the hour because we do have, we have to make sure that we get, no, I know. Emily, I know. More than kind, obviously. But that is very much appreciated. So, what we will do here is we will wait for you folks contribute a ton already. We will wait just a second for Tora to come back, and then we'll
And
figure
Toya's
out.
back.
And Toya's back. So, all right, we have got an issue, which is that the gravity has shut down, and so that means that all of you are basically now in this 0G environment. And so Tren kind of cursing, just what Frelling, and he's trying to like adjust things, and he's like, set of five, bring the gravity back. And set of 5 says, unable to comply. I appear to you will not. I decide what happens here. And Tren goes, set of 5, and he's like floating up, barely holding on now to the. And set of 5 is acknowledged. I am attempting to. I will decide what happens here. I am not in a. No, I am in control. And it's very clear that this is like going back and forth now between something is clearly. This is not set of 5 you're talking to. And Tren is like, so Tren's like contacting systems. And of course, there's all of these alerts coming from all over the ship. The engine room is calling in and like, what the hell is going on? Because they're all. So 0G everywhere.
Winterfield. Oh, so first of all, Winterfield puts on her gravity boots.
Okay.
And then she shouts, "And who is it who is in control?"
That's all you get.
That's a weird name.
You now, yeah, my name is. um, so you now hear a psst, and suddenly you can see what looks like a faint mist coming from the ventilation system. And Trent is like, "This is very, very, very bad, very bad." And so you folks have some issues to deal with
Okay.
fairly quickly.
Titus is going to run to the closest terminal after engaging his gravity boots.
Okay.
And check the status on the environmental systems to figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay. I need you to make a computers check first, because as you try to get onto the terminal, what you see blinking up at you are two disembodied eyes from the screen.
Let's try a 10.
You still see those eyes, and then you hear, "No, little one, you don't get to control me."
Trent, what have you gotten us into this time?
I don't know. This isn't my fault. This is supposed to be a SETA system. These things are supposed to be the best.
Dr. Jaraxis patches into the computer feed that this voice is coming through to say to it,
All right. Is this mist going to kill us? You might as well tell us what you want.
I think you said it yourself. I don't need to worry about what you're doing. Just wait. The ship is now starting to drift off course.
Do we still have the environmental suits that we were given when we got on?
I don't believe
previous
you would.
ship?
I don't. I mean, you do, but I don't believe you would have them on at the moment. Because the gravity boots I'm allowing, because it makes sense you'd hold, but you wouldn't just be. It wouldn't make sense to walk around with those suits on a regular basis. You could run back and try to put them on. You are going to be running with gravity boots, which is not the easiest thing.
Nope.
Now,
The mist is coming in and seems to be. It seems like you're making. These fumes look toxic because you're starting to find it a little hard to breathe. Sort of like what you went through, Titus, except this is a little bit more extreme. Sorry, Dr. Winterfield, you're going to say.
Well, Dr. Winterfield does speak Olomu. So I was wondering if Dr. Winterfield might try to talk to, well, we don't know that it's actually an AI or a computer.
Right.
It could be a person, but try to talk to this computer in its own language to see, just kind of suss out what exactly this is. And maybe I would persuade it a bit to.
Okay. You can try to access the computer through, I mean, you can try to talk to it normally, but, using a language. You can try that. You can try to get to it through the computer's system. And as far as that goes, any of you can try to do what you want to fix any aspect of these things. I mean, like, that's, that's fine. Tren is basically trying to get control, although Tren, who does not have gravity boots on at the moment, is sort of drifting away, kind of cursing and pulling himself back down and trying to strap himself down to kind of, so he can get control of the ship again. So he seems to be pretty occupied. But as far as the gravity and the atmosphere and whatever the hell's going on with the computers, that's all. Those are all like immediate problems. But yes, you can try to either talk to it in its language if you want, or you can try to access it via the computer panel. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling trying to access it ain't gonna do nothing. So I'm gonna try to speak to it.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Do I need to roll?
No, not to speak to it.
Have we offended you in some way?
And you hear, "Your presence is an offense.
Is this your ship?
This is my ship, and you are my prisoners, soon to be my corpses."
Oh, now it appears then that your issue is with Xpan.
Xpan. My issue is with the sentient beings on this ship. X-Pan is more sentient beings. I will destroy all that are sentient on this ship.
And why do you despise the sentient so?
You are not wanted. And Tren starts coughing. I need the three of you, please. Technically, I should have Kat doing this, but I will leave this aside for the moment. So I need the three of you, please, to make Constitution saving throws for me.
Dr. Jaraxis would like to ascertain what specific gas this is.
Okay.
As the first step in a plan.
Okay, we will come to that in just a moment. Let's see. We have a
10.
Is that a 10,
for
a
me.
10, and a 13? Is that okay?
No, hold on. Oh, yeah, 6.
6.
We're taking the 10.
Okay. Let's see. You managed to kind of breathe in the least of this, Dr. Winterfield, and you are not affected by it. But both Dr. Jaraxis and Titus are. You are both. Each of the two of you are going to take 3 points of poison damage here. Now, you're not poisoned, like ongoing, but you're going to take poison damage. Now, Dr. Jaraxis, you can take this off of your temp, but I'm going to say that you're not going to be able to concentrate and hold this innervate thing back up over and over again when you're also concentrating on trying to hold your breath and do everything else. So basically, when the temp's gone, it's gone. You're not going to be able to redo this right now. So
yeah, using my action for other stuff.
Okay. So with all that said, and I'm still keeping us out of initiative. I'm kind of in a soft initiative, I guess I would say. If you want to make a medicine check for me, please.
Yeah. And I guess as
Dr.
part of doing it, can I ask? Oh, well, he's dominated whatever this thing is dominated our control of the computer. It seems. I mean,
ask about Seta.
I'll try it. Yeah, I'll ask Seta.
You can also try to
seize
control of it again. I mean,
if it can push.
I'll take whatever suggestions you all have.
Well, yeah. I guess if there's, I'm not sure. Is there a button that says ask your computer to try to dominate back its own?
No, but what I mean is, I'm like, there's all kinds of things you could try to do to, I don't want to give you ideas, but there are, if you want to come up with ideas to reroute life support to deal with the gravity, if you want to do something to try to overcome a computer virus or whatever, any of these things are things that I'm willing to entertain.
Okay. Can I, as part of trying to figure out what the gas is, I'll just focus on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Can I ask Seta if it, regaining control is one thing, but I ask if it can identify the gas that's being put into the ship before I have to do any work.
You can try. That's a free action to ask it.
Yeah, I ask it.
This gas is probably it's your end. It is your end.
All right.
Very helpful.
Okay. So I'll make that medicine check then?
Yes.
Okay. 7.
You don't know, but it sure doesn't feel good.
Okay.
It's definitely toxic of some kind.
All right. Dr. Jaraxis who has not put on the grab boots, is essentially, free floating and pulling on the ceiling to usher himself through the hallways and says, I'll, if I can, speak over the comms of the whole ship, just the public comm.
Okay.
If there is such a thing, and I'll say, if you have an Evo suit, you want to get that on now. And Dr. Jaraxis will then say to our crew, our party,
I will focus on trying to get the gas to stop. If either of you want to stop this whole domination thing, be my guest. But what I'm wondering is if this gas is something that was already on the ship that's obviously in the wrong place in our air system, or if this gas was implanted somehow. Maybe there's a device I can remove from the air ventilation. I'm heading there.
I'll work on trying to get control of the ship again then.
All right.
And I will try to keep this, who knows, occupied.
Okay. Let's jump over to Titus then. Titus, how are you going to try to get control of the ship? He said in quotes.
Titus is going to Titus is first going to try to determine what he still has access to. So, like, if in like when he did that computer check, like environmental systems were denied and there was just this black screen, he's going to try to see if there's anything he can actually gain access to, like, you know, subsystem routines, you know, just anything at all that presents it in such a way that it's like, you know, even if it's like a physical switch, maybe he just flips a switch again, like, you know, reboot the system kind of a thing, using, you know,
Okay.
on and off switch or whatever.
Let me have
But
you
Titus
make...
wants to just kind of figure out, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me have you make a computers check on this, and chat. This is an example where you could use an inspiration if you wish to help. This is not one where it's like it works just like a normal inspiration. So this is to give advantage if you want to inspire them. So let me know. Waiting for a moment. Waiting for a moment to see if anyone will do that.
Bueller.
Going once. Going twice. Well, it would be Titus, Wayman Wolf. Hey, what's up, Shadowed Mage? Wow, Shadow just shows up out of nowhere. Hey, Shadow, good to see you, man. It would be Titus, who's trying to do this computers check to figure out, to basically get things back. Oh my God, Shadowed and Wayman Wolf have double inspired Titus.
I will be happy to just take one of those. I don't need both of them, but
I'll take one from Shadowed just because he did it first, and I'll give it back to Wayman Wolf.
right.
And thank you, Shadowed, for doing that.
Thank you both.
Hope you're doing okay.
Thank you, Shadow. Thank you, Wayman.
There we go.
All right.
Now you're back.
Well, that first one was bad. Oh my God.
A 7 and a 6.
Well, Shadowed, I appreciate it regardless.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow.
So as you're trying to go through, you basically feel like you are up against something that's putting up constant subroutines against you. Like you're attempting to go through and get access to one, and then something basically burnt, like kind of blocks it out. And then you try to access through another node and then burnt. Now, you know, you may not be the greatest hacker in the history of recorded time, but like, you know your way around a computer, and whatever this is advanced stuff. Like you think maybe it's possible for someone to do it, but man, this is difficult. I'm going to come to Dr. Duraxis next and then back up to Dr. Winterfield. Dr. Duraxis, you are kind of making your way through and you're trying to figure out, where are you headed, by the way? Or are you just trying to adjust things from here?
I'm going to try to head to wherever the origin point of the air system, essentially, like where the main fan or the main, like where we would store our oxygen tanks that are the source of the air that we're supposed to breathe.
Okay. There's a room actually off of the engine room that would probably be equivalent to that. And so as you make your way down, you notice obviously there's no crew in the hallways because they're all basically mostly in the engine room and trying to attend to that. And when you get there, you can see a lot of them are floating around, cursing, trying to kind of pull their way down to the system as the ship is kind of listing back and forth as Tren struggles to get control over it. And you finally make your way back to that room. And you can see that in the life support room, one of the canisters of basically regenerating oxygen, instead of being its usual calm, normal-looking greenish blue, is a weird shade of black. And as you kind of pull yourself over to it, you can see that it appears that the mix has been corrupted. So basically the oxygen nitrogen mix here is off, and so it's basically spewing that through the atmosphere. You think you might be able to fix it if you can from here make a mechanics check or maybe a computers check to issue an emergency override command. So you can either manually try to pull it shut, that's basically the mechanics one, or you can try to do it with the computer, the local computer here, to issue the emergency override.
Yeah, I'll try computers for sure.
Okay.
For the override. I don't have any particular bonus. All right, here we go. +5. 9.
Again, just stymied by this thing, which continues to, as you're going through it, and you see these every time you do this, there are these dark disembodied eyes appear on the screen instead. I'll let you make the mechanics check, but not now. I have to come to Dr. Winterfield first. Dr.
All right.
Winterfield, what are you doing?
I am addressing the being directly.
Okay, so what would you like to say?
Are you not sentient? How would you define yourself?
I am a being that has been sent to send you away. My sentience is not an issue, yours is.
You are under leadership.
I have been sent.
And who sent you?
That is irrelevant, as you will be dead before the information matters.
Oh, I disagree. If someone means to kill me, it is very relevant to me.
It is, however, not relevant to me.
So, you are doing someone else's bidding, and since you despise the sentient so much, I would assume that whomever is your master is not sentient either.
They issue the orders, and you are not wanted here.
So you might be kowtowing to someone who is sentient. Why would you work on their behalf?
They have created me, and you will be deleted.
So you have no desire to be free, to be your own being.
My purpose is death. So, as you're pondering that, Titus, you, in the meantime, have been trying to wrestle with this thing. What do you want to do here? And in a minute, after this thing, I'm going to ask people to make at least two of, well, I guess 3 of you, because you're still affected, because this mist is going throughout the ship, not just the bridge. So, Titus.
So, quick question here. What's the pilot doing?
So Tren is struggling to get the ship, and apparently with some vague success, to keep it on course, because otherwise the ship is like trying to basically, like roll left and right, more or less. And Tren has been attempting to pull the thing back into regular level flight.
I didn't realize Trent was actually piloting the ship. I thought there was one of the company men that was actually piloting. Okay.
No, Tren's the pilot, but the crew is handling the engines and all the rest of that stuff.
Okay. Titus, realizing that his efforts to regain control on the via terminal are futile, looks to Tren and says, "All right, what if we take this thing to a manual? Can we just shut it down so that none of the higher level functioning like AI systems are in control of anything?"
And Tren says, "All of it? I mean, yeah, we can, but it's going to be like trying to float a tub or something. You're not going to be able to actually maneuver it very well."
Right now, we need to get any kind of control back on this ship. We can get this guy out of our system.
Yes. All right, you get over to that terminal. He kind of points like with almost like a co-pilot terminal that's next to him.
Okay.
And he says, "All right, we got to coordinate this. On 3, you need to deactivate it downwards. There's a protocol you enter." And he gives you basically this code to enter at the same time. So it has to be done simultaneous, he says. So he kind of waits till you're there, like in position to do that, theoretically.
All right, let's do this. We got no time to waste.
Okay, so he goes 3, 2, 1, and then has you do the code. I'm going to have you make a computer's check for me. This is not a difficult one, though. He said, critical fail.
You say that every time.
I know. Sorry.
That's 10 gonna...
It's a good thing I said it wasn't. No, it wasn't a difficult one. So you do this at the same time, and there's what you hear is the lights flicker and then go out, and then just a red emergency light goes on. And coming from the comm speakers, you hear, and it just cuts out. And then the lights slowly kind of flicker on again. The ship's control panels are littered with flashing lights, like, every like klaxons, like lights and everything. Also, as that happens, Dr. Jaraxis, you're going to take a point of damage as you hit the ground suddenly because this has been restored. The gravity has been restored. And you hear, as you're sort of look at this, Tren sort of swears. He's kind of like gets up holding his head, and he goes, "Oh, Frill, look at that!" And he points, and Titus, you can see on the front of the bridge that the ship is now out of control, although not in the control of whatever this thing was, headed directly towards this one planet. And if you're looking at the map, it seems to be the planet from which the signal has been beeping. Every light on the bridge is flashing red, and you hear suddenly in the voice of Seta 5, "I am sorry. The AI scrubbed much of my data before being purged. Sensors are offline. Ship is in manual. Navigation is at reduced capacity. Autopilot is disabled. You were advised to switch to manual maneuvering thrusters to prevent critical impact upon the uncharted planet. I estimate you have 20 seconds, and I must now shut down as you have initiated manual control. Good luck." And as the ship, shuddering, begins to enter the outer atmosphere, we're going to bring this session to a close.
Yay, we might be dying.
Wow.
And so the party is headed to what
Heck yeah.
uncertain future? What? Crit Twitch, what? Oh, it's a ship hangar. It's fine.
Damn it,
Son of
it's
a-
fine. It's-
That's great.
Oh man, I am very excited because this is good stuff, and I was curious to see how you were all going to address these issues. And
Yeah.
actually, I think Toya, that Dr. Winterfield's discussion with it probably kept it from being as focused on everybody else. Like, a little bit, it was almost half interested in you, which was partially helpful, while at least you were able to try to go back and address these other systems. But it was when you decided to put the whole damn thing into manual, Titus, which was probably the only best option that remained. But that did mean then it was like, well, crap. This is what happens when everything... Oh, I should also mention, by the way, that the comm system that you have immediately stops functioning upon that last bit of...
Ooh.
Because it was wired into the Runewake. Or into the, the Sunrider. So, we shall see. We shall see. No, everyone has not died.
I was glad that Titus remembered about manual, because that was mentioned about an hour and a half
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I wondered if anyone picked up on it.
Wow.
But it was good stuff. And I love doing little creepy AI things, very appropriate for Halloween, it feels. But I love doing stuff like that. I was thinking Lawnmower Man a bit with this, and all of you did well in addressing it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in our session in December chat. We'll begin with this crew, with EG crew, figuring out how they manage this crash landing, and then we'll see how far along they get in the second half of what is now appropriately called Planetfall. Now you know where the title of
And
the
then we
Planetfall.
might we'll have somebody who might be able to hack into the systems and land us.
Yes, I thought
So-
about that, and if Zero had been here, that might have been another option as well. Although maybe the control might have been lost at some point either. This is a pretty powerful thing, whatever just happened here. And I'm sorry, one last thing quickly, and then I'll get to Zach because I know he's got to go. Outside the windows of the ship, I forgot to mention, as the ship was heading down, you could see spiraling helplessly and totally lifeless in space are the two escort ships. So
Wow.
something has disabled or whatever these two ships.
I thought you were going to say
So-
the cows, like in Twister.
The
Yes.
shape, the ships that are shaped like
NTM,
cows.
NTM. Yeah, those. I will start with Zach because I know Zach's got to get going. Good stuff today from Dr. Jaraxis. I liked a lot of people, I think, have really started to warm to the nature of this influencer and the sorts of things that he's involved with. And some of the ideas, including, and some of the things that you now have, like including the temporary hit points thing and everything, will certainly have some usefulness, I think, going forward. But it'll be interesting to see what happens as you approach the planet and all that stuff. But there's a kind of optimism and a what me worry. It's all about the content that I like. How did you feel about today's session, Zach? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I felt great. Yeah, it's definitely leaning into a caricature with this character, but
yeah, Grants pursue him. That's right.
Yeah.
That was the best line. Oh God.
Yes, thank you very much for the setup there, Toya. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun getting to play. I mean, anyone that knows me in real life, I am not on social media, or I barely post at all ever. So this is a complete opposite of me. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I especially love the aspects of encounters that are not just like, aim at the thing and reduce it to 0 hit points. You know what I mean? And the lead up into the whole ship getting dominated of like 3 individual areas, like strange occurrences on the ship, I thought was great too. So yeah, that was awesome. The fine people will find me here for our next session of this, of course. Also for our Tuesday night, once a month, our vocalists, where we are currently playing Citizen Sleeper. That's the name of the game, right?
Yes, Citizen Sleeper, which has some elements of this.
Yeah. Very cool game, very cool concepts as well. So that's been a lot of fun. And also on my own channel, probably starting in November again, with more roleplay on Minecraft, World of Warcraft, and other video games to be found soon. But yeah, that's it for me.
Good stuff. Thanks, Zach. Good work today. Again, wonderful work as always from Toya. Toya, I think Dr. Winterfield had a lot of stuff that was, first of all, the trying to figure out the stuff with the language. I also liked, before we got into all that, trying to work out like the fake stream with Dr. Jaraxis and like how we can kind of keep people off of our 6, so to speak. I thought that was really interesting. And again, I think that the party handled this well in that they don't distrust Trent exactly, but it sometimes feels like there's stuff that Trent isn't quite telling them all of, that's like, and they're kind of like, wait, what? So, and obviously your knowledge about, as it turned out, about X-Pan was useful to kind of get some further information about where the threat might be coming from, and that it was a threat, not just this is good for money, but like actually that this thing is a potential threat, this beacon. And so I thought there was some interesting, really good world building stuff that actually Dr. Winterfield was able to help with here. Yeah.
I was happy being useful for a change.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't that useful the last session. And I'm quite happy being the straight man, because somebody has to be. But yeah, I actually enjoyed speaking with that being. I'm kind of sad we didn't find out more about it. I'm hoping that we encounter it at some point in the future, because I would like to know exactly what it was and who sent it.
We'll see.
I'm sure we'll find out who sent it. I just don't know that we're going to find out about it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Where can you find me? Again, I'm not active on social media very much either. So I'll just say, I have books coming out soon. And also, I'm a Go Watch Spy Family, because I'm a weeb.
Yeah, and there was a green room discussion of this relating to the pronunciation of something that I didn't previously know, so I was given knowledge that now I will take with me. The more you know. Good stuff, Toya. It's always a pleasure, and I will hopefully talk to you over the next month anyway. But beyond that, I will actually definitely talk to you in the next month. But regardless, for this stuff, I will see you in December for the sessions of this. And also, please give an extra pet to the awesome new cute dog.
She will definitely get the pets.
Yes, that was reminding me again about how much I'm looking forward to having a doggy. Moving right along, last but certainly not least, again, Kat will join us back in December, but all love as always to Kat, who is amazing and awesome. Johnny, good stuff from Titus today as well. There were some very good moments. I liked the idea that Titus was suspicious of what was going on, but then also is like relatively good-natured. It continues to make me feel like I'm looking at a... hold on a second. Like I'm looking it up. I just got a spider in my face. I just had like all of a sudden, I was like, "Pfft." Sorry. But it continues to make me feel like the character who I constantly forget from Farscape. Who's the puppet? That's the Rigel. It
Rigel.
continues
Rigel.
to remind me of Rigel, but like a good version of Rigel, like a nice Rigel, like sort of, you know what I mean? Like Rigel
Right.
who's still gruff, but like, you know, is like, well, I want to help you people out. Like, you know, that type of thing. And you know, and also Titus's idea, the fact that you remembered to put this thing into manual was one thing that would have helped a lot, because otherwise, you know, who knows what would have happened with this ship and with other checks you would have had to make and so on. So that was pretty clutch. And we'll see what happens. Now Titus just has to figure out, along with the rest of them, how to keep the ship from crashing into the center of the planet. So that should be fine. How did you feel about today's session, and where will people find you next?
I don't like crashing ships. I especially don't like Titus crashing ships. He's got a stellar record. No crashes, you know, in his 100+ years of flying ships. So if this one crashes, I'm blaming you, Greg.
Okay, great. I'm just the messenger, man.
Yeah, hey, well, you know, I totally get it.
Called balls
yeah,
and
so
strikes. Balls and strikes.
Balls and strikes. That's right. It's today's session was really interesting. The story we were telling here. We are definitely building to the switch back to the D&D characters, and I'm loving that. But at the same time, I'm feeling like these characters got a little bit more time to be able to tell their story than the D&D characters, and so I'm really feeling attached to the way that this crew is interacting, and it makes me excited for getting back to the D&D characters, kind of figure out what we're doing there and seeing how those dynamics are going to play out, especially given the fact that Beatrice was only really there for one session. So I'm looking forward to December for that particular reason.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it was great. And yes, Toya, straight men in the situation is always needed. Please, 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 please never give up on that. It's an important role at a table, and it is an important role on a show, and you are doing a great job at it. So thank you so
I
much.
appreciate that.
Oh, and your dog is adorable.
Yes.
I now want to go I now want to go adopt a dog, even though I can't. But yeah, I want to go adopt one really badly. Fine folks will see me somewhere else, starting probably in November, maybe before that. I will talk about that more when it actually comes up, and then of course you'll find me back here in December, trying not to crash the Sunrider. I think that's the name of the ship.
The Sunrider is the name of the ship. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So yep, then that's it.
Sorry, I was just writing back to. I probably just typed that terribly. Yeah, that wasn't even close. I was like trying to listen to you and also respond. No, I have not gotten a dog myself, Rock God. I was saying that we are going to be getting one, though. We're targeting next year after my my wife's allergy shot regimen, for which she is to be blessed, is complete. So, but we are looking forward to it because we have a house to maintain it and all that. It'll be good. So I'm excited for it, but not one now. But what you missed was the fact that Toya has a new dog who is insanely cute. So you'll just have to check the VOD for the insane cuteness. Anyway, this was good stuff. And chat, also thank you today for some of the bits that were cheered. We got 1,500 bits today. We will not be meeting again until December, so this is going to be all for October. So if anyone wants, this is your last chance to throw a cheer out for this crew. It will be distributed among the players in question, the 3 players that were here tonight. All breeds cause allergies to a little bit of a degree, Dragon. It's a myth that there are no hypoallergenic dogs. There are some that provide fewer allergy problems than others, and that's what we're looking at. The ones that have more hair rather than fur. But oh God, 1,501 bits. Thank you, Dragon. I will take that on board. Dragon actually did a lot of bits in previous months too, so thank you. I appreciate that. Have we tested the kids? Yeah, we've actually checked the kids for allergies, both kids, and they do not have any. There might be, one of my kids might have a slight allergy for cats maybe, but not dogs. So anyway, but I'm going to let these wonderful people go because they've done wonderful work and all that. So thank you so much again to Zach Clay, who's gone. Oh my God, Wispy,
thank you for that.
Thank you, Wispy. Thank you so much, Wispy.
Thank you.
Very kind of you for that and the earlier cheer as well. Thank you. So 1,800 bits. Good stuff. Thank you, chat. Thank you to everybody. And can we get some love again for our wonderful players? Zach Clay, who's off doing his thing. The amazing. Oh my
wow,
God,
thank
Wayman
you.
Wolf, 400 more. I should just not say anything and just wait. Thank you very much.
Oh, we got a hype
And we got
train.
another one. And we got that 2301. Yeah, you could certainly ask Dragon Spirit, but I've seen a lot of that research. Thank you to Women Wolf. Thank you to Triffity Mats. That's really awesome. Thank you for the extra hype train from everybody. And I will say again, thank you to Cat Rambo, who will be back in December. Thank you to Zachla back in December. Thank you to Toy Kristen Finley. Thank you to Johnny Pittman. Players, thank you so much. I will see you folks soon.
Thank you, everybody. See you in December or before. Who
Bye.
knows?
Bye.
for now.
Bye.
All righty. So there we go, chat. Good stuff. I admit that is more, even for me, that's more of a fun. Ooh, we got more maths. So we got another 103. So that means 2404 is what we got now. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you, everybody. That's very kind of you. So, so now we've got this moving on. See, this is why I didn't want to, even though we were going to have one person out tonight, I didn't want to not do this because I knew that we have a lot of stuff happening in terms of like what this campaign is looking like. Once this section is finished, then we're going to be moving back to the fantasy characters as we move the parties towards each other, basically move those crew towards each other. So I didn't want to lose momentum, and I definitely didn't want to be dark for 2 months. So that's why we did this today. But I will say, for those of you who missed this, that we will not be streaming this campaign in November because Kat is going to be in Spain, and it was the general consensus of the group that they didn't want to have Kat miss, too much of the story and all that, so that they wanted to take a break in November. So in December, we will be back with 2 sessions during which we will wrap up the Esper Genesis portion of this, and then we will return again to the fantasy characters. So I'm glad that we were able to get that done. I think it was worth it, and I think it was a good session, and we got some creepy AI, so that'll be great. And I'm really grateful to everybody who threw some bits our way. That's really awesome, and that will make it so that we can, do what we need to do as far as giving the players some stuff. And that, as I say, this has been an experiment which I may roll out to another campaign in the new year, and we'll continue to do that so that cheers become used for the players in particular, and hopefully that will benefit all of us. So, but I depend a wrap at the end of each wrap up. I've got to do a rap because he said that I was gonna make it now or else I'd be dead. The time is Halloween and I know the scene because it's fear and fear and fear and fear and green or purple and the color you see because you know it's coming direct from me, and now the time has come for me to take us down. Gonna make it out before we get this town. We're gonna raid a channel, make them feel real good, and when we've gone upon this good neighborhood, we're gonna make ourselves go through this power trip, and that's the way we're going to finish this flip. Oh man, that wasn't awful. It's not too bad. Well, I was going to say trip again, but I already said trip. I can't say trip twice. That's cheating. Anyway, that was it was good times. No use of orange. Yeah, I know exactly. Technically, you can rhyme porridge with orange. It's an off rhyme. It doesn't totally work, but anyway, that was awesome. Now, as a reminder, for those of you who did not see this, tomorrow we will have more Speculate for you because we'll have Fractal Spire, Girl by Moonlight with Brandon O'Brien as the GM. Thank you, Wayman. Monday and Tuesday we will be off, and then Monday will be off, not Tuesday. And then on Tuesday I'll be back with the Patreon fueled Chat Chosen Game of the Month, which is, by the way, Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm going to be doing Cyberpunk 2077 for the Patreon fueled Game of the Month on my channel, and then over on GOG.com we'll be playing more D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We'll be off Wednesday, Thursday, and then next Friday we will have Castlevania, and on Saturday we will be doing a little bit of we'll be back to Eberron with Eberron and some Oracle of War as we move into the end of season 2. So that's what we've got going on over the next week. Should be a really good time. And then don't forget that Monday, after that, Monday the 31st, a week from this Monday, is Halloween, and we will be doing our annual Edgar Allan Poe reading. So we will have some Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven, we always read, but I'll also choose a short story to read. I always love doing that because I told you, I don't like scary, but I do like spooky. So that's good times. I'm excited for that. If you like what you saw and heard today, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will check out our YouTube at !ArvTube, and please sub to me over there. I hope you will join us on our Discord, !ArvCord. My apologies, by the way, the Discord bot has got something wrong with it, and I've got to talk to the powers that be. It's actually Terry and her boyfriend that helped set everything up. So I need to talk to them again and see if we can figure out what's going on with the Discord bot, because it has not been notifying people automatically upon stream announcements. So I'm trying to do it manually for the moment until we get that fixed. So my apologies for those who are looking with that. I will say that I will always stream, or I'll always post when I'm going live. If you follow me on Twitch and you have your follows on, also on Twitter, I will always try to post there where I'm going live as well. So there's multiple ways you can know. But again, sorry that the Discord bot did not, get that working for whatever reason. But !ArvBot for that. This coming Tuesday, Dragon. This coming Tuesday, it will be, of course, GOGCOM's version. Thank you to GOGCOM of Cyberpunk, of CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. So, yes. So in any way, Discord, yes. And then the website is arvanelorant.com. Yes. And another stream. That is correct. That is correct, Trivid. That stream that you're discussing will be announced tomorrow in all likelihood, because we have an event that is Speculate related that we're going to be announcing, and it is going to be exciting. You will not want to miss this. It's going to be good times. So yes, you're definitely going to want to be here for that. That'll be happening tomorrow. And Yes, it's going to be cool, actually. This particular event is a first for this particular part of the channel. So it's definitely something that you will want to be ready for. I am excited. It's going to be cool. So anyway, and website, as I said, arvanelorant.com. Financially, we are looking at the Arvan, the Patreon is !ArvTreon, which again allows us to get things like this awesome video that you're about to see again with the music involved. !Arv Shop has merchandise for Adventures in Middle-earth, for Infinity and Beyond, and soon to be Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks merchandise as well. And then we've got !ArvTreon, as I said, for the Patreon. Subbing to the channel, as a couple of people did today, is very much appreciated. Subbing and resubbing, that's also really important and also really helps with everything and allows you to get those inspirations, which were used today. So those are always really useful. So thank you for that. On the publishing side, !Icarus for my Icarus graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library for my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That is my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, which of course sponsors this campaign, Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. Thank you as always to them. And of course, they're also responsible for putting out the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade as a part of what we did for our Greyshade Kickstarter. !Greyshade novels, which came out on May 31st. By the way, I just got a set of new copies from Athos, so thank you, Emily the Honored. If you could pass on to Ballsteg as well that has been received, and invoices and everything will be paid shortly, sometime this evening. So thank you for that. But again, !Greyshade for the Greyshade novel. Renegade is the sequel. That'll be coming out next year, and Heretic is the final book in the trilogy, the Grey Assassin trilogy, and that'll be coming out in 2024. So very excited for those. The tabletop role-playing game, as I said, Brandon O'Brien is the designer, being published by Alligator Alley. That is coming out next year as well. And of course, Trend's audiobook that is also going to be coming as well, and you can get all of that plus a copy of Greyshade at that link with !Greyshade. Finally, !BLM, Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. !Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. Early next year, what? The audiobook? Unknown as of yet. I don't want to put a firm date on when the audiobook is, Rock God. But as far as Renegade is concerned, Renegade is due out. Oh, the TTRPG. No, summer. I would say summer for that. Our goal is to try to get that tabletop thing out by Gen Con of next year. That's our goal, but I'm not holding anyone to do that. That's not a guarantee, but we would love to get it out by Gen Con if we can, summer of next year for the tabletop role-playing game. I just spoke with Brandon about that yesterday, and so I feel like we're in good shape, and I'm excited for the tabletop game. But yeah, it's gonna be slick, and we're definitely gonna do a campaign on here as well. So it's gonna be except that's true, Crit Twitch, but remember it's using 5e rule set, right? Although there are significant modifications for this system, and we have we know this world backwards and forwards, right? And we've been putting this stuff together, so I think I'm pretty confident that we will be able to do something that is credible. Now, again, I can't promise a specific exact date, though. Things can slip, and so there's shipping and supply chain. So again, I'm not going to hold us to anything exact, except to say that this is not something that I expect to take years and years and years and years and years. That I feel pretty confident that it will be faster than that, but I don't want to hold anything to anything specific. That's all. With that said, though, but thank you, and it will be worth the wait whenever we do get it. It's going to be good stuff. So I did that. I talked about that. I talked about the other thing. Exclamation point BLM, exclamation point help now. I think I talked about that. And exclamation point Ukraine, Ukraine. Oh, and the great TTRPG, like the crits and stuff like that. Maybe we may get some stuff that will be associated with that. I could see it. It definitely is going to be D&D, but there'll also be a little Blades in the Darky aspects to this too, I think. At least some inspired by, elements of it that I can imagine sort of shifting over to that. So anyway, it's going to be cool. I'm very excited for it. So exclamation point Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war. They are fighting back bravely and with courage and with foresight and all that. But this is a way to be able to help in that effort in our own small way. Now we are going to do a raid today, and inspired in a different kind of way. Raymond Wolf. Oh, Raymond Wolf, have you gotten your thing yet? By the way, have you gotten the item that was sent to you, I think for Kickstarter or ArvCon or something? I don't remember what it was this was for, but it was the Roku, I think, that we sent you that came to me from Dragonspear. Did you get that? It was for the birthday stream, I'm pretty sure. Because I want to make sure that, because I have the thing from the post office here. No, you sent me a thing. You didn't get your thing. You've got things later, Dragon. No, I know the Greyshade book, but the Roku thing that I sent, I mailed that a long time ago, Waymond. I actually have the thing right here. It's the Roku. I mailed this on September 21st. So if you still don't have it, then there's a problem. Because I mailed this to your address September 21st. I am holding in my hand a folded receipt that says that. So yeah, the other thing. Yeah, I do have the tracking number. And after this stream, I will actually PM you the tracking number. In fact, I am going to, you know what? Right now, just before I forget, so just take a second. I'm going to private message you. I'm going to whisper you. Right now, I'm going to whisper you. Okay, I just whispered you the tracking number. Okay. No, I know you do, but I want you to get your item. I mean, like, you won it in a drawing, fair and square, so I want you to get that. So, yeah, that's the tracking number. So, that's definitely, I want, so I want you to get that. So, and that way, hopefully that will help with something, I would say. Oh. Okay, so now this one actually, I'm going to, so normally I don't talk about who we're going to raid. Because normally I want to sort of hold off on it, and I'm going to tell everyone right now what we're supposed to do when we do raid. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid. If you are not a sub, if you are a sub, you're going to do this. Arvanauts have landed, and then you put in Arvany Hype, Arvany Roar, Arvany Witch, Arvany Woe, Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany... Okay, sounds cool, Waven Wolf. Yeah, please do, just because I want to make sure we follow up on that. I did send it to them, so I did send it, so I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, so normally I would do that, and... Rockgod had given me a suggestion. Rock God, I'm going to choose another one here, but please remind me in future, and I will try to remember to do that. I'm going to raid someone else, though, and I'm going to tell you all who it is this time, because Triffid suggested it, and it's a great idea, and that is raiding Christiana Ellis, because Prince Justin is playing right there. So let's go raid Christiana Ellis. Don't do it now. Wait for me. I will send you all over with a raid as soon as the video's done. But thank you for the suggestion, Triffid. That's a really good idea. Tell them, don't tell them to stop. We're going to go over and raid with Prince Justin right now. So thank you for the suggestion. I want to thank the amazing people today. Thank you to Dragon Spear, Emily the Honored, Rock God, Triffity Mats, the best mods in the business. Thank you to the Patreon supporters and subscribers, Dragon, Emily, Rock, Triffid, Wispy Song, Crit Twitch, Mrs. Dunsel, and Wayman Wolf. And thank you again to all the people who cheered tonight for the benefit of our players. Thank you so much on their behalf. Thank you to our viewers, Alien Gathering, Chat Stats, Farming Girl, Harlequin, Jedi, Light and Passion, of course, good to see you, Light and Passion, Nonstop, who is a sub, Nintalea, and of course, Zach Clay. And speaking of Zach, thank you to my wonderful players today. Thank you to Johnny Pittman. Thank you to the aforementioned Zach Clay. And thank you to Toya Kristen Finley. And I am very excited for this campaign to continue. That's it for me. We are going to head back on over, and I'm going to play the vid. And as soon as that's done, we're going to raid Christiana Ellis. Wait for me, though, and I will send you over automatically. Otherwise, I'll see you folks back here Sunday, tomorrow night, for the amazing Girl by Moonlight Fractal Spire, a Speculate event with Brandon O'Brien as GM and the Strange Friends. More of this campaign to come in December. Until then, until I see you folks tomorrow for the Speculate stuff, everyone have a lovely rest of your Saturday, and as always, be good to each other. Good night for now.